exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
ESPN New York. Now streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe today and watch the show. WHSQ and WCBS-FM HD2. New York. Don.
Cool, man.
Hahn.
Don holding his hammer.
And Rosenberg.
Repug Don doesn't hold a candle to that pumpkin pie haircut of a freak.
This isn't North Dakota. This is New York.
This is Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg.
The best threesome I've ever heard.
On ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
301 in the big city. Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. It's a somber Monday. We'll get to the Knicks and people fired up about the Knicks-Sixers. New York versus Philadelphia and all that goes in with that, and we'll spend a lot of time over the next 4 hours dissecting that series. We'll have our predictions, and we'll have guests as well. Tim Legler is going to join us coming up at 4 o'clock to break down that series. You thought it was going to be the Celtics. They blow a 3-1 series lead, and now it's the Philadelphia 76ers, and I hope it's every bit of what we saw a couple of years ago. But that was a fun series. But, you know, the passing of John Sterling cannot be ignored. It touches everybody. You've got Peter, who's not from here, but certainly has spent enough time here to understand the significance of John Sterling. There's myself, who grew up a Met fan, not liking the Yankees, but listened to him because I love radio and I love an entertaining broadcast, and he certainly brought that. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, getting to know him through Michael Kay and becoming friendly with him and getting a chance to talk to him not that long ago when I got the Devil job. He called me to congratulate me. Then he called me before my first game to wish me luck, and I didn't get the phone, so I got the voicemail, and I'll treasure that forever. But I'm curious to really start this whole thing with Alan Hahn's thoughts as a Yankee fan, the only Yankee fan of the three of us, to see, you know, the passing of this legend and basically the soundtrack, I'm sure, maybe not your childhood, Alan, but certainly in the formative years of you being a baseball fan.
That's exactly how you put it, the formative years. The thing I always like about, and I say this a lot about the Yankees for me, is it's the one team I never had to cover when I was a sports writer. Like, you know, you have your main teams and then they have you do other things. And I've covered just about everybody. I did a Mets spring training. Like I did almost every team, I think, in this town. And yeah, I did the Nets finals. I've done the Knicks, obviously. Devils Stanley Cup runs, Rangers, and obviously the Islanders. And so the Yankees are the only team, Jets and Giants, the only team I've never actually covered. And so it allowed me to stay a fan because, you know, once you know, and you know this, guys, once you know how the sausage is made, it kind of changes everything for you. There's no mystery. There's no kind of fantasy. It just becomes too much reality and you understand it. The Yankees have remained sort of that mystery and fantasy to me. Mm-hmm. And Sterling was such a big part of it because, you know, I lost somebody very close to me in Al Trautwig last year. And I always felt like Al had that voice of God. And Sterling had that kind of voice too. Just the baritone, the operatic ability to go high and low, the deadpan, like just so much about what he was as an announcer, right? Like just when you get into the broadcast, you understand the value of his voice. But how many people do you really associate with a team like that? And it helped, obviously, that he called so many incredible games and incredible moments and championship years. That's really how, you know, how you become connected like that emotionally from fans. So in all the years I've known Michael and all the years I've been in this business, I've never had the pleasure of meeting him. And that's, you know, that's a loss for me. But it's also, he still remains for me. Like, I can relate to so many of the callers who called Michael's show today, and an incredibly emotional 2 hours of radio. And I listened to a majority of it on my way in. And I related more to the fans than ever before because of how they were calling in and what they were expressing, because it's all the same things for me. Working at Newsday at late night shifts and the Yankees are playing and driving home, and it was John, John and Susan. And that got me home a lot of nights. And even when I was covering other teams and the Yankees were playing, driving home, it was John. It was his voice. And the callers had said you stop in the driveway and you don't get out of the car because you won't just wait for the inning to end. And that's a real thing. And that's stuff that was hitting me as I was driving,
right,
because this is a mortality thing for us guys, right? Because the older you get, the more you understand and appreciate the length of a career. And here, when Michael said for 36 summers, man, that hit me.
Yeah.
Like 36 summers. And that's 36 summers not of his career. I take it, I'm sure fans will feel the same way. It's 36 summers of my life where I listened to that voice, even in the worst of times before it got great. And it's something that it's nostalgic. I'll never it's a voice you'll never forget. And I've gone down the rabbit holes sometimes, just bored somewhere, and I just want to watch something. And I'm the type of person that likes to detach from the real world as much as I can. And he voiced not only the Yankeeographies, but he voiced like a 3-part series on the history of the Yankees. It's a couple hours long each one. Guys, I watched that only a couple of months ago and loved every minute of it. And he was the voice of it, and nothing went together better than his voice and Yankee baseball.
There's something that hits about baseball. When you look at the 4 major sports in this country, football, the only voices we have are on radio, but really, how often do you listen to the game on the radio? It's Sunday. You're watching on television.
Yeah.
Unless there's an emergency or something that pulls you away, you're usually going to camp in front of the TV to watch your Jets and Giants on Sunday. Basketball and hockey, there's only 82 games, and same thing. It hits different on television than it does on radio. You want to watch hockey games. The radio is, hey, if I got to go run and get something, or if I'm driving home from work, I can watch it. Or listen and then watch when I get home. Same with basketball. But baseball, because it's 162 games, unless you're a hobbit, you're going to go out and about. So even if you ingest all 162 games, they're not going to all be on TV. Mm-hmm. You're going to be at a barbecue and you're going to have it playing, or you're going to be in the car stuck in traffic listening. And in the 36 years he was the voice of the Yankees on radio, in the body of those 36 years, he called over 5,000 consecutive games.
Amazing.
Insane number.
Not one family emergency, not one time ill. I'm sure he felt ill, but not enough to not call the game. And for a large majority of those 5,000, called all 9 innings. Like, he is unlike any person I've ever met, radio broadcaster or not. He is such an unusual personality. Michael described it very well in his 2-hour show earlier about the fact that what you heard on the radio was what you saw if you met him in person. Same voice. It wasn't an act at all. He looked at things differently. He loved life. The stories Michael would tell us about him were hilarious. And then to meet him and get to know him, Peter, it was just incredible. The first time I ever met him, he introduces himself, and he was doing a show. Tim McCarthy had hired him to do a show back in the infancy of our radio station, and he came in and he did like a 2-hour show. And I was doing updates, so I'd go in to do the updates, and I'd go back into the newsroom to work on the next update. And I'd known him for 5 minutes, but he'd come right out and he'd talk to me. And he would say things like, I don't know why people talk about talk radio being so difficult. You just open your mouth and talk. How hard is it to do that? and to somebody who didn't know me, like, it sounds pompous, but it was almost adorable. Like the way just he looked at life and talked about life. And I told you the story when he called me to tell me about the Devil job. He's like, Don, I heard that you were worried about incorporating your color commentators. You don't do that. You're the star. They can talk when the puck's in the neutral zone. Kenny and Sal, they'll have their moments, but it's your broadcast. Wow. You don't have to worry about other people. Like, and I laughed. I laughed to myself when he said it to me because it was coming from such a human place and a fun place. But that's the way he looked at life. He just was. I honestly cannot compare him to anyone. Not an announcer. Not anybody that I ever met. Peter, is there anybody on the face of the earth like John Sterling?
So interesting you ask. I don't have a personal relationship with John. I know we had him on the show, but I don't recall us ever spending any time together in person. So I know him from driving around listening to him and Susan from the time that I got here until he retired. And then I really know him better from hearing stories in his voice from Michael Kay.
Yeah.
So I have a really bizarre version of this man that so many people in New York, I've been telling Yankee fans, it almost feels unfair that I get to have had the sort of purview that I've had because I'm not a Yankee fan. But fortunately, because of all the years around Michael, I've heard so many stories. And he, to me, when I got to New York and I first heard him as someone who grew up an Oriole fan, Don, listening to John Miller, right, who is as sort of as bread and butter traditional a play-by-play man as you will find in radio. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, he's to me, he's a GOAT, but it's I was trained on that, like this very straight-ahead, balls and strikes kind of guy. A nice little story and tale every once in a while, but really a balls and strikes guy. When I got up to New York and first started hearing John Sterling, I was flabbergasted, like at first, that this was the voice of New York Yankee baseball because he's so unusual. And then as time went on, I went, oh, he's the perfect guy to be the voice of New York Yankee baseball. Because, and Michael talked about this today on the show beautifully, because when he got down to the serious brass tacks of a game when things were important, he was as good and serious a balls and strikes guy as you could find. But when games were sort of, middling, or it's the fifth inning in a 4-1 game, and he's giving you his very John Sterling, it's the perfect mix of how serious Yankee baseball is with the general wackiness that is New York City. That together was John Sterling, the broadcaster. And then, of course, when you add what Susan brought to their broadcast, it was the ultimate. It was the perfect New York Yankee broadcast.
Right.
And then from a standpoint of just getting to hear about him, he just sounded like, from the stories I've heard, both ones that are for air and not for air, you talk about a life well lived. This man just lived life.
Yeah.
He lived a lot of life in those 87 years. And it's a sad day because it's over. And I know that Michael and the Yankee family and the fan and and everyone who had a connection to him is going to be hurting today, particularly his family and his kids. But those 87 years, Don, and Alan, were very, very well lived.
No, they were. What a great guy. It was. It's a shame, Alan, that you never got a chance to meet him because he was a gem. He was an absolute gem. But you got to listen to him all those years. And he started in 1989, and it was a rough patch. And then Michael joined him in 92. 92 and 93 weren't great. Then it all came together in 94, and basically no losing seasons the entire time he called games. So you had that, right, Alan, of this quirky guy, but tremendous voice and incredible storyteller and great play-by-play guy, and then this epic team that he's calling, right? I mean, just 4 championships in 5 years and all the great players that he got to call. Those 5,000 consecutive games you get to call, Bernie and Jorge Posada, Derek Jeter, Alex Rodriguez, Andy Pettitte.
But there was a flair that came with it. It's the perfect storm, right? It was the perfect kind of meeting of an ultimate Yankees fan who loved the team and the history and understood it, and yet he had to call some of the worst of times first. And it allowed him to really, I think, made him appreciate even more when the winning started happening, right? Mm-hmm. Like, he didn't just step right into like success and all that stuff. He grinded through some bad years but I'm sure with the same kind of gusto, because look, when it's your dream job since you're 6 years old, you attack it no matter what. But to see it win and see it win the way it did, like to see that Yankee tradition, which I know a lot of times we kind of yawn at, but let's be honest. I mean, that return to glory in the late 90s was something very special. And I think that, invigorates him among anyone else that would be calling it that has that past, which is why, Don, when you got the devil job, it's why, like, it's one of those. It's just perfect. It's a perfect fit, and it's just the right time for you, right? Because you know the history. It's the same type of deal, and I think that's what made it so genuine. What made him so relatable, despite the fact that when you said, "Is there anybody you can think of that's like him?" And I always imagined his voice, his personality on the air, and I know Michael's always said that's who he is off the air, and all the stories and everything without ever meeting him. He is a movie character, a very entertaining one that might not be the leading man but steals scenes. Like that's kind of like how you picture him because of the quirkiness and the personality, but on top of it, the passion for the Yankees that he had, that was unbridled to a point that when there was a big home run or a big win, it's radio, but I heard him stand up and make the call, right? Like you could hear that he was standing up. And that's pretty amazing. And the ability to come up with the various home run calls for various players to a point where it almost got comical. And again, as I remember the earlier years, and I'm a part-timer at Newsday just trying to hope that will I ever have a life in this world, a career in this world. And the next day you come into work and you see other people who are just like you just trying to make it. And the first thing we all do is yell out whatever the Bamtino or the other calls, burn, baby, burn. And we laugh about it because it was like, what other things is he going to come up with? There was a poetry to what he did, and he also just had the voice as well that, just incomparable.
No, he was terrific, and he started out calling Islander games back in their infancy in the mid to late 70s. He was in Atlanta calling Hawks and Braves games. As a matter of fact, that iconic July 4th, 1985 game between the Mets and the Braves that went 19 innings and Keith Hernandez hit for the cycle, and at 4 o'clock in the morning they still lit the fireworks in Atlanta. Rick Camp had the home run, a relief pitcher to keep the game alive for the Braves. He called that game on television, called net games. So he called hockey, basketball. He called some football. When Yes started, they had the contract for Ivy League football games. And he would call them on Saturday afternoons. He'd be like a Harvard-Yale college football game, and he would call it for Yes. And, of course, as Alan said, he narrated the Yankeeographies, which is going to be great because that's going to continue to live on Yes forever. So not only will you hear him, you'll be able to see him, but just looking at social media, everybody's got a story. People in the business, people that weren't in the business had a chance to meet him, get his autograph, and how genuine a person he was, how nice a person he was. Michael Kay is going to join us at 4:30. I know he had 2 hours, 2 very emotional hours earlier, but you can't talk John Sterling without having Michael Kay on. They were partners together from 1992 until the Yes Network started in 2002. And so all those championships, those 4 championships in 5 years, had a chance to call it. Michael brought up, and maybe he'll repeat the story when we have him on at 4:30, he still believes the greatest call John ever made was the Gonzalez RBI single in 2001 that won the World Series for the Diamondbacks because he didn't play it like typical announcers and downplay it. He called it excited because it won the World Series for the Diamondbacks, which showed you how professional he was, even though he's always accused of being a homer for the Yankees win call at the end of the games, but still called it straight like a professional announcer. That impressed Michael. And Michael's got so many stories. As Peter said earlier, Michael had a great impression of him and always had tremendous stories. So Michael had an emotional couple of hours, but I want it to be more lighthearted because we're celebrating the life of a great man. And if you knew John at all, and no one knew him like Michael did, working with Yankee games with him or indirectly with him once Michael went to TV for 36 years, is that John did not want a day where he'd be honored in sadness. He'd want a day in which he'd be honored for truly celebrating the life that he lived, as Peter said, well lived for 87 years. And he, big Broadway fan, he'd sing on the air. It just, again, I can't compare him, Alan, to anybody else. He was as unique a personality as I've ever met.
And I assure you,
incredible.
The stories we know from Michael only make him more unique off the air. I mean, just you think you know everything, and there's other stuff. He's just an interesting dude, man. What sounded like a real great hang and one of a kind.
And think about it, of all catchphrases that the great announcers have and the ones we remember forever, and they all have them. But there's also the it's not really a catchphrase. It just was more of a something in passing that has turned into a legend, which is, that's baseball, Susan.
Yeah.
And we use that for everything almost in life now, right? When something goes wrong and it's expectedly goes wrong, that's been my go-to for years. That's baseball, Susan. And it's just something he said in passing. But, that also is a good example of kind of how you become iconic.
Yeah, and they made a great team. Michael and John made a great team. The times that Charlie Steiner worked with him, then obviously with Susan Waldman was able to. She complimented him perfectly.
It really was a special combination on the air.
Yeah, it really was.
There were times, especially in moments of frustration that John would have with the Yankees, where she was almost like how she would finish his sentences, or just kind of gently correct, or there's just something about them as a baseball couple that just made it even more an entertaining listen.
And I will tell you this, as someone that does play-by-play and have certainly made my share of mistakes, that as he was getting towards the end, there were some mistakes that were made that I think were still, because everybody loved him, nobody killed him for it, but it kind of became a thing right now. But I would notice, maybe just as a broadcaster, that other people would notice, how Susan always had his back.
Yep.
Like if there was a mistake, she would say, "Yeah, I couldn't tell either, John." Instead of throwing him under the bus and saying, "No, that was fair by 10 feet, John. What are you talking about?" And believe me, there are announcers out there that would do that, you know, because they want to show everybody, "Hey, I'm on it. My partner might not be, but I'm not. I'm on it."
So right.
She would always have his back, so he wouldn't feel embarrassed. Because let's face it, as he got deeper in age, and it was tough to see sometimes, and the game can be complicated to explain, and sometimes he would think it was a home run and it wouldn't be, or it would fair and foul and all that, and it happens to the best of us. When you do that many games, they're not all going to be perfect, and Susan always had his back, because at the end of the day you couldn't see it anyway, right? So it was really easy for Susan to be there for him, which I thought was great,
and to throw her some love too, by the way. And she was great. Michael had her on, and I thought that was such a fantastic interview, because like you said, and Peter said this, Susan was more pushing like the celebration of the man rather than the sadness of it all, which I love. But in those moments, I really enjoyed them together, because it was like the gentle, I use the phrase gentle corrections, almost like what your wife will do when you're telling a story to neighbors and you missed a couple of things, and she'll just that's this, and this happened. Like just little, gentle, instead of making you look bad. And I thought that was what made them kind of fun to listen to, because they had seen so much baseball together. And, just the fact that she just knew where to fill in the blanks if he wasn't able to do it. And, look, it's what makes great broadcasting. Duos are big. Obviously, chemistry is huge. But it does certainly start with the iconic voice, and it's one, I don't know how you guys feel, but if the Yankees ever want to celebrate his legacy in any way, when they win at home, you got to continue the Yankees win. There's many recordings of it. You can play that in the building when you get the last out.
Yeah, but so many people are going to remember that forever, and I really wish that there's honored in Monument Park at some point, should be in the Hall of Fame. Unfortunately, outside of New York, maybe they just didn't get him.
Yeah,
And then he will eventually get in, but it's just a shame, because he not only would have he really appreciated it, he would have given a hell of a speech had he gotten on when he was still with us for sure. So it's an interesting day, because it should be a Knick day for sure. And Michael brought this up. If John would be like, "All right, get to the Knicks already," because he wouldn't want to interrupt a good sports day, good sports conversation, because it is a big deal. Game 1, Madison Square Garden tonight. That's where Alan is getting prepared for the pregame on MSG and the postgame too. So we've got that to get into for sure. And then we'll get into the Knicks with Tim Legler at 4 o'clock. Michael will join us at 4:30, as he will have some, I'm sure, great stories to get into with John as well. Want to let everybody know, Mets-Rockies coverage will be on 10:50 today, starting at 5 o'clock. Knicks-Sixers immediately following us, and 8:80 at 7 o'clock. So thanks to our partners at the Mets, every Knicks game will be heard on 880 for the remainder of their playoff run if their schedules conflict. So that's not nothing. So we really appreciate the Mets doing that. So the game that was shifted to 5:20 today because of the weather in Colorado will be on 1050. And anytime those schedules conflict, the Mets will be on 1050. The Knicks will be on 880. And we appreciate the Mets for doing that for us. 1-800-919-3776. We are just getting started on a Monday. Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg on ESPN New York.
The Knicks.
The Knicks beat the Hawks 140-89 and win this first-round series in 6.
The 76ers.
We got to reset. You got to do it again. I always talk about the word consistency. We got to be consistent in being this version that we showed tonight.
The Eastern Conference semifinals.
We still have a long road to travel. Staying locked in and just knowing what we're capable of is it's really important.
Game 1 coverage begins tonight at 7 on 880 and the ESPN New York app.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
The New York City Department of Correction offers countless career opportunities, from specialized units to leadership roles that support public safety and change lives for the better. It starts with one step: registering for the New York City Correction Officer exam. Earn over $109,000 after just 5.5 years. Benefits on day one, job security, pension at any age after 22 years of service. Go to nyc.gov/joindoc or search Join DOC. One career, many opportunities. Register today to take the test.
I'm a dog, and my job is to make you happy. So I recommend Optimum Fiber for your home. It's famously fast, way better than flaky 5G home internet, which can slow down the more people or dogs are online. So switch to Optimum Fiber, starting at only $25 a month with a 5-year price lock. Call 888-4-OPTIMUM or visit Optimum.com today. That's 888-4-OPTIMUM. Gus, fetch! I gotta take that. Terms apply. See Optimum.com for details.
Mother's Day is coming, and you gotta show love to the mothers in your life. Between my mom and my wife, who is now a first-time mom, I got a lot of appreciation I need to show. So yeah, Mother's Day matters, and you gotta get it right. That's why I'm sending farm fresh flowers from the Books Company. Right now, get 25% off with my code Canty. Books flowers are cut fresh, so you get bigger, brighter blooms that last way longer. They've got incredible flowers. Some are even growing on the side of a volcano. And the best part, Books makes it easy. Pick the bouquet, the delivery date, and you're done. No last-minute panic. That's why Books has over 55,000 five-star reviews. With 25% off using code Canty, grab flowers for your mom, your wife, and grandma too. Mother's Day is May 10th, so don't wait. Go to Books.com, use code Canty for 25% off. That's BOUQS.com, use code Canty. Books.com, code Canty.
No matter your age or career stage, SUNY Canton delivers education at the speed of life. With flexible, fully online degree programs, you can earn your credential on your schedule. Ready to get started? Apply now for a summer start in high-demand programs like applied psychology, cybersecurity, healthcare management, and more. Our admissions team is ready to help you review transfer credits, explore degree options, choose courses, and navigate every step of enrollment. Email admissions@canton.edu today or visit canton.edu to learn more.
And now let's take a look at the traffic with Brandy Scott.
Hey there, guys. Good afternoon. A pretty bad ride over at the inbound George. Some road work on the upper deck blocking the left lane. Going to run you about an hour using 8095. A bit better from the 4 and 46 approaches. Lower level construction picked up. Still going to run you about 20 to 30 minutes. Best of it's the outbound George, West Side Highway and Henry Hudson. Cross Bronx westbound already jammed from White Plains Road on through. Not too bad heading outbound at the Lincoln and Holland tunnels. They're running about 5 to 10 minutes each. Not moving at all on the Hutch. Drawbridge is up. Your stop there on both sides in the Bronx. Solid ride on the LA eastbound getting through Queens, bumper to bumper between the BQE and the Cross Island. This report is sponsored by the Positive Coaching Alliance. Questions about youth or high school sports? Well, the PCA can help. It's a national nonprofit developing better athletes and better people through youth and high school sports. More info at positivecoach.org. I'm Brandy Scott on 880 ESPN New York.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-687-5192. That's 800-687-5192. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-687-5192.
Just a reminder, the Mets game has been shifted to a 5:20 start. Coverage at 5 o'clock will be on 10:50 as the Knicks game is going to air on 8:80 tonight. So we're going to take it right up till 7 o'clock. And every Met game and Knick game that conflicts, and there'll be quite a few during the course of this Knicks run, which hopefully goes all the way till they're handed a trophy. The Knicks will be on 8:80 and the Mets will be on 10:50. And we really want to thank the New York Mets for making that shift. So they've got a 5:40 first pitch because of the weather in Colorado, because apparently just it's full. I mean, listen, as nice a day as it out, and it got to like 70. It's like, dude, we're 4 days into May now. Let's get some.
So are you with me now?
The step.
So are you with me now?
Yeah.
Well, it's now ridiculous. It's the other day. I mean, it was yesterday. My parents got here yesterday. It was freezing. We were outside. I was on I live on the river. It's absolutely and like insane wind and cold. And you're like, it's May 3rd.
No, it's crazy. I mean, I'm taking the kids to school, and it's under 50 degrees, and I took them to the Somerset Patriot game yesterday, and it was nice, and the sun was out, and when the sun was on you, it felt warm, but, it's like 57 degrees. I'm like, it's May 3rd. Dude.
Enough.
I get the April stuff, but now we're into May. And, Alan, I know you celebrate. May the 4th be with you.
Yes, can I show you guys something? Take a look when you get a chance at the monitor. Stephanie made me a cupcake.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, isn't that nice?
The hair today.
Yeah, what's going on? It's
terrific.
This is different.
You went somewhere.
You did something.
You met someone.
And he may have dyed it.
No, I'm not going to go there.
Well, he was considering it.
But
I think he did.
I
think he did it.
Work was done on Friday after Get Up.
Look at it's not Yoda. What's his name?
Grogu.
Grogu.
Yoda.
They call him. It's the Baby Yoda thing, but yeah. But yeah, so it's May the 4th. Everybody be with you.
So do you think sometimes Alan's whole Star Wars thing is that like it was too easy for him with women? So he said, "How can I make this harder?"
It's his donut in the on deck circle.
Yeah, he goes, it's too easy for me. I want to make sure I can, get my reps in.
Yeah,
how can I try to make it a little harder? Well, when I meet a woman, she goes, "What are your interests?" And I go, "Grogu," and like that could at least add a speed bump on the way. You know what I mean? Because he's good looking and he's tall.
Yeah.
Just like, let me be a weirdo about Star Wars for a challenge.
Professional wrestling and heavy metal really got you guys raking it in too, I'm assuming, too, right?
Honestly, it's not. I hear what you're saying.
I
got to tell you, Star Wars, Anthony, is in a world all its own.
I completely disagree.
You can.
Star Wars is a great conversation starter because if you meet someone and they just give you a look like, I don't know what you're talking about, and they walk away, they're wasting time. But if they start arguing which is the better episode, come on.
Now you're in, baby.
Metal doesn't stop you from getting
women. Metal's a bad example, Anthony. Metal was actually cool. Like,
I mean, now you got somebody that wants to think, that understands, the drama in life.
Well, no, these are two different things, though. These are two different things.
Okay.
Can you meet an awesome woman who's into Star Wars and then they're like your dream woman? Absolutely.
How about this?
However, if you're out just talking to random women and they're not into Star Wars and you go, "I'm so excited for the release of Grogu and Donut," or whatever it's called.
When Alan would be out on the town saying, "Would you like to see my lightsaber?" And when they'd actually see a lightsaber, they'd be a little taken aback.
They said yes already, but they didn't know it was going to be.
For me, it was finding the woman of my dreams who knew nothing about Star Wars, and now she loves it.
I know.
You got her in, huh? All the way.
Good for you.
Especially because of Grogu, Baby Yoda. She loves Baby Yoda. Now she's making me cupcakes, boys.
Ladies love Grogu. That is, I've always heard LL Cool Grogu.
Yes.
So Sterling's going to be a part of the show all day. If you want to call and talk about it, for sure, 1-800-919-3776, just your memories of him, if you have any stories of meeting him. And Michael's going to join us at 4:30. But the other big story of the day, and it certainly takes a sideline to John Sterling, but still is significant, is the Knicks playing the Philadelphia 76ers. And it wasn't that long ago, guys, where it was like, are the Knicks going to make it to the second round? And if they make it to the second round, of course they're going to play the Boston Celtics. And now they're playing the Sixers. And I got to tell you something, Alan. I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried for what I said last week. When you look at the Knicks' history, this is when you should be concerned. When everybody's got them winning, you're going to play the Sixers. They're going to sweep them. I'm listening to the calls earlier, the second hour of the K show, and I was listening to Bart and Carl. Oh, we're sweeping them. Knicks in 4. You're getting all set on the Cavaliers or the Pistons. Take a look at the Knicks' history recently. This is when you should be worried. I'm not saying they're going to lose, but these are the types of moments. Indiana last year in the conference final. You go back to when they played the Heat a few years ago. It just seems like when you count your chickens, and they have shown you, even early in the series against Atlanta, they do not handle prosperity well. So they better have the same attitude they had when they closed out the Hawks, starting this series with the Sixers. Because if they're starting to fantasize about a finals run, that's when all of a sudden you lose game one and change everything. So hopefully they're still minding their P's and Q's.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that's the problem sometimes, that this team has gone to these places where when they're the underdog, they're really good at punching up. But then when they become sort of the favored team, that's when it feels like they let you down. I just wonder, though, if Game 4 against Atlanta changed everything. Because, like Josh Hart was talking about this on his, he and Brunson do the podcast, and during the playoffs, they only do it when the series is over. They don't do it during, obviously. But their first-round wrap-up podcast, he said that moment was like when you're playing a video game and you're not doing well and you just lean forward, like you're laying back in the chair just playing the game, and then all of a sudden you sit up and lean forward and now you're locked into the TV, and he's like, that's kind of what happened with the team, is you kind of were like, all right, I'm enough messing around. And that feels like the moment. Now it's got to carry over. Like anything with any team, once you start to see something go right, and a lot went right for that team, and I'm telling you right now, I don't think it mattered who they were playing. Have you ever seen in the playoffs, in a closeout game on their court, have you ever seen a team quit?
Not to that extent.
They made them quit, and that's been the conversation there. Guys were quitting because they had no answers. So I'm wondering, can the Knicks take that, realize Boston's out of the way now? Like, Detroit has shown us a lot of warts. The door is open. The opportunity is there. How bad do we want this? I think we'll know tonight by the way they play in Game 1.
I agree. I think you'll know tonight. Just on the note with Detroit, that's the one break they have not gotten in recent vintage. They've gotten a lot of things to break their way. Detroit still lingers, and maybe there's a concern because they had to go 7 against Orlando, but they took care of business coming back from 3-1 down, and they are a bit of a matchup problem with the Knicks. But that's obviously for round 3. They've still got round 2 to get through. And as far as the quit factor, I was off on Friday, so I'm not sure if you brought this up or not. It was very comparable to the 2000 championship game, Giants-Vikings. That's what it reminded me of, where the Vikings just quit. The Giants ended up closing that game out on like a 13-minute drive because the Vikings were checked out. Like 41-0, but at least that was at Giants Stadium.
Yeah.
But to have that happen in Atlanta, I'd never seen anything like that before. But that's what was comparable to me. In a big moment, advancing to the next level, completely eviscerating your opponent the way that they did. That's unlike anything I've seen before on the road.
Now, listen, it would have been. I wouldn't have hated for the Knicks if Detroit also is not around. Instead of maybe, obviously they've shown warts, as Alan said. Obviously they're going to be a little worn out, but maybe they also feel a little bit motivated, like they got over this hump, and now there's a little extra there. Would have been nice to have Orlando sitting there, but hey, you deal with what you got in front of you.
Well, who's to say, Peter? Who's to say you're not going to have Cleveland waiting for you?
That's exactly right.
Because I will point out, Cleveland purposely made sure that they stayed on Detroit's side of the bracket, because where did Pistons coach J.V. Bickerstaff coach before he went to Detroit?
That's true.
Cleveland. Those guys think they know him, and they think they match up well against them, and they believe that's the favorable matchup. Cleveland did all they could to avoid Boston. They wanted nothing to do with Boston. They wanted Detroit. That's what's going to make the second round on the other side of the bracket really
That's fine. But you know what? I respect the Magic more than I respect the Raptors, and I don't buy Cleveland. I just don't. And I also don't buy Harden.
Yeah.
I get it.
He won a Game 7.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, somebody had to win that game.
That finally happened. But, no, it's a good point. But it'll be interesting to watch all that. But this is where we start to say, let's get our feet – let's be where our feet are. We did this the other day, right, going into Game 5. Where one person was talking about who's going to replace Mike Brown, and the other person was talking about how are we going to beat the Celtics. And it's a be where your feet are. And that is what you're talking about, Don, is this group understanding what flipped in the middle of that series in Atlanta. Now build from that and just literally get into that focus of what's in front of us, a dangerous but beatable Sixers team that we all know is one tweak away from Embiid being done. We know that. And they don't really have a bench. But they've got a really good 4 players in the starting 5.
No, they do.
Really good. And they have a head coach who's always good at just mixing up defenses and junking things up and frustrating the hell out of you. So it's another challenge, but it's not an impossible one. This is one they should be favored. They should believe that. And, again, tonight, build off of what you did against Atlanta. That's all you have to do. What they did in Atlanta, what they did, not the game, but what they did in Game 4 in Atlanta and then forward for the rest of that series, that's the proverbial switch flip that you were waiting for with this team to see its potential. Mm-hmm. And for 3 games in a row, we saw it. The way they won by double digits in each game and higher each time to make a team quit. It was remarkable to watch.
All right, we got calls on Sterling. We got calls on Knicks. But let's say I wanted to bet the Knicks game.
Well,
Peter, what do I do?
You'd probably want to see where I'm feeling.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
me and the Knicks been getting along quite well.
3-0, right?
That's right. 3 straight with the Knicks. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. That's right. Turn $5 into $150 in bonus bets just for getting started. FanDuel makes it easy to get closer to the action, from player props on your favorite stars to all the tools you need to back them up. It's everything you need all in one app. So don't miss your shot. Head to FanDuel.com/local to get started. FanDuel, an official partner of the NBA. Play your game. 21 and over, physically present in New York. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY at 467-369.
The Knicks.
The Knicks beat the Hawks 140-89 and win this first-round series in 6.
The 76ers.
We got to reset. You got to do it again. That's what I always talk about, the word consistency. We got to be consistent in being this version that we showed tonight.
The Eastern Conference semifinals.
We still have a long road to travel. Staying locked in and just knowing what we're capable of is it's really important.
Game 1 coverage begins tonight at 7 on 880 and the ESPN New York app.
If you're heading into summer without a medical emergency kit, you're taking a risk most people don't think about until it's too late. Summer colds linger and can turn into sinus infections that last for weeks. Getting sick right now before vacation can derail everything. And when you're traveling, finding a doctor and pharmacy is stressful. That's why I ordered a medical emergency kit. It's like having urgent care and a pharmacy right at home. It includes essential prescriptions like amoxicillin and generic Z-Pak to treat a wide range of common and serious illnesses. So if you wake up sick at home or on the the road, you already have what you need. No waiting for your doctor, no hours at urgent care, no pharmacy lines, no copays. Just match your symptoms to the right prescription in your guidebook or call their telemedicine doctor standing by. Start on your meds sooner and feel better faster. Every home needs at least one medical emergency kit. Order yours online in minutes and it's shipped to your door. And save $45 with my promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880. That's promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880.
Tricon Construction is expanding across New Jersey, taking on larger, more complex commercial projects and delivering at a big league level. If you're a developer who values precision, accountability, and execution, you need a construction partner who understands what's at stake, timelines, capital, reputation. That's Tricon. They're building the right way with experienced leadership, disciplined project management, and a team that shows up ready. Serious projects, serious results. Visit TriconBuilds.com, TriconBuilds.com.
Mornings with DiPietro and Rothenberg.
If the Knicks don't win this series, it would be a massive disappointment.
And this is not a regular 7 seed. Talent-wise, they're better than
No, that's a good team.
Just got to make sure we up the level of our focus, attention to detail, discipline, and physicality.
There is no, well, the Knicks have had a good season, but they lost in 7 to Philadelphia.
No.
That does not exist. You have to win this series. Knicks in 5.
DiPietro and Rothenberg. Morning 6 to 10 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
My dad passed away unexpectedly. Of course, it was awful in every way, but we are very grateful that he had life insurance. So even after he was gone, he was still able to provide for us. And that's why I have life insurance for my family. Ethos.com. They make it fast and easy to get covered. It's 100% online. You get a quote in seconds, and you can apply in minutes. You get covered the same day.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required. Rates may vary.
Harry Douglas here to tell you about Confetti Craze 5-Hour Energy. It tastes just like the best birthday cake ever. Vanilla, buttery, frosting vibes. It's basically a party in a bottle. And here's the best part. All cake, no sugar. And you know I love my cake. So I get that big birthday energy without any sugar guilt. The bottle's small, easy to toss in my bag, and perfect when I need a quick, tasty caffeine boost to cakeify my day. The Funfetti flavor is back on 5hourenergy.com or Amazon. Crack open a Confetti Craze 5-Hour Energy shot today.
This is Bart and Carlin on ESPN New York.
The Jets had a terrific night. We all understand that we don't know draft picks until we know them, but on paper, they had a phenomenal night.
Now the results have to happen. Now the Jets are not going to be pushed around.
And next year, you're going to have more salary cap space than anybody. And by the way, you'll have 3 first-round draft picks.
Bart Scott, Chris Carlin, weekdays at 10 a.m. on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. Find the Children is a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted car. Call 1-800-294-0222. You'll receive the maximum tax deduction and we provide fast, free pickup. Call 1-800-294-0222. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Call 1-800-294-0222. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
Harry Douglas here. PayPal is now the official peer-to-peer payment sponsor of the NFL, which means all the money moments that fandom creates, whether splitting tailgate costs or chipping in on tickets and game day food between friends, are covered. Wherever the game is played or watched, PayPal moves with fans. You can send money through text, email, or directly to friends with eligible accounts on Venmo. Just download the PayPal app and share all the moments that matter. Account with PayPal is required. Not available in all regions where PayPal operates.
The Knicks are one step closer to their ultimate goal.
The Knicks beat the Hawks 140-89 and win this first-round series in 6.
Will this be the year the Knicks punch their ticket to the NBA Finals?
Brunson right wing, walks into his 3. That's good. Rebound, Towns, and the putback is good. It's a Towns takeover here in the third quarter.
Thanks to all our New York Knicks partners this season, including ZipRecruiter, Amazon Hub Delivery, Princeton Jeep, and Food Bazaar on ESPN New York.
So Knicks-Sixers Game 1 will be right here on 880 with coverage beginning with Pat O'Keefe at 7 o'clock. Even though the Mets have coverage at 5 o'clock for their game against the Rockies at 5:40, that's going to be on 1050. And anytime the Knicks and the Mets are going to be up against each other during this Knicks run, The Mets will be on 1050, and the Knicks will be on 880. So remember that. We'll remind you, and also thanks to the Mets. They didn't have to do that. They did. So we really want to thank our partners for making the shift, understanding the story the Knicks have become. And so Game 1, Knicks-Sixers will be on 880 with coverage beginning at 7 o'clock. Ready for some calls?
Let's do it.
1-800-919-3776. Let's start it off with our friend Felicia in Mississippi. You're on Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. How are you?
Hey, guys. Doing pretty well. How about you?
Good, good.
I just wanted to share a quick story about John Sterling. I got to know him on kind of a personal level. When I was a freshman in college, I actually went to initially I was going to school for journalism. And one of our first assignments was to interview someone within the media professional. And so I called the Yankees media relations number, had very little hope of him calling. They took my number down and, didn't promise anything. And lo and behold, a few hours later, I received a phone call from John Sterling. He called me from his cell phone, and he told me, I hate this thing. I just wanted you to know that I got your message, and I'm willing to do the interview with you. But can I give you my home number, and you give me a call back in a few hours? And it was it was very casual. He didn't have to do this. We ended up developing somewhat of a friendship, and I called him a few more times while I was in school for different things. Happened to tell him about an internship I got right before I graduated, and he sent me a letter because I had sent him some. Oh, I left off one part. So after I did the interview, he said, "There's one condition. I want you to send me a copy of your article that you wrote." And I guess he saved my address all those years. And I called him a few times after I graduated, and he still remembered me. Every time I would say, "Hey, this is Felicia from the student from the University of Memphis," and he's like, "Oh, I remember you." And that's just the type of guy he was. Like, we never met I never met him in person. But that's the type of guy he was, and he didn't have to do that to me. And I don't think there's a lot of professionals now. This was 2012, 2010, 2011, 2012-ish. I don't think there's a lot of professionals that would do that now. It just was really neat to me, and it's always stuck with me. And I told my husband, I hate this. A few months ago, I said, I haven't called him since he retired, because I called him right after he retired, and I just kept putting it off. And I knew he was doing poorly health-wise, and I really hate that I didn't call, but it probably wouldn't have been a good time anyway. So, but just wanted to share that because he's such a wonderful guy. And,
no, he was. And
I love that story.
That is so cool because, again, he didn't have to do that, and he took the time to do it, and kudos to the Yankees for passing the message along. That means so much. I try to do that. I know you guys try to do it too because there are so many people that helped me through my career.
Absolutely.
But when you hear stories about somebody that significant taking the time out of their busy day to do that and then stay in touch after the fact.
Well, listen, Don, the real ones do that.
Yeah.
Right? That also tells you a lot. Like, you care about the business and you care about the next generation. You care to take the time because you knew. And look, I mean, John didn't start step right into the business as the voice of the Yankees. He grinded, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like he went. It took him years to get to that job. So he understands. Like clearly, he understood what it took and how important it is to give advice that you learned along the way. And I know you feel that way. I do. I try to get back as much as I can, and that's a great example of it. The real ones get it, man.
Derek Jeter has spoken. John Sterling is as much a part of the fabric of the New York Yankees organization as any player. It was an honor to have him call every one of my games during my career, and an absolute pleasure to get to know him on a personal basis.
Wow.
My thoughts and prayers are with his family and friends. He will be deeply missed.
That's another thing.
That's a strong thing to say.
It is.
As any player, right? As significant as any player. That's the greatest compliment you can give to somebody who is not a player in a franchise that's been around a long time.
Now, listen, Alex Rodriguez helped him when Sterling had the fire. Like, to have that kind of relationship with players, because players sometimes don't really care about the broadcasters or whatever, but he always seemed to have a tremendous relationship with all the significant Yankee players. Now, I'm big at having the right game plan on the ice and at home, which is why I use Viking Pest Control myself. As a pest control provider and proud partner of the New Jersey Devils, Viking has been protecting homes for over 45 years with expert pest control service and solutions tailored just for you. From ants, cockroaches, rodents, stinging insects, and backyard mosquitoes, Viking keeps pests out of your house and out of the play. Bundle pest control with mosquito services and save big. One call, one company, total peace of mind. Visit vikingpest.com. Viking Pest Control, protecting your home inside and out. Let's go to Sal in Maspeth. You're on ESPN New York.
Hi, guys. I hate to change the subject after talking what a nice story that was about John. But about the Knicks, my biggest fear is not Maxey and their speed, because they do have great speed in the backcourt. But I think with Alvarado, maybe with some of our other guards, we could maybe handle it. But I worry about Embiid. We have sort of changed our offense now, and we're going more with Cat at the top of the key. But I'm sure, and he was able to make them bounce passes or the alley-oop passes or the cutting passes through the lanes pretty easily. But with Embiid there, and he's probably going to stay on top of him and get in his face, it might be a little harder, and that could affect our offense. What do you think?
I would love it if Embiid guarded Towns 15 to 20 feet from the basket and put him into pick and roll. I would love that. That is probably the dumbest decision that they could make if they do that. Get him away from the rim and have him that far away and then put him in pick and roll situations where he'd have to either drop or switch. Yeah, that would be exactly what you'd want if you're the Knicks. I don't think he's going to guard him. I think he's going to play off him, and they're going to have him roam, because you saw what Boston did the first game he played. They had him in pick and roll all day, and he couldn't move. They destroyed them. The very next game, they changed up everything defensively. Nick Nurse is really smart with what he can do with his players. I would really be surprised if Embiid spent a lot of time guarding Towns that far away from the basket. Will he switch over to him if he's down in the paint? Yeah, of course. But I can't see that happening, because if it does, the Knicks should be able to pick that apart with dribble handoffs and Towns just having him out that far away from the basket. Perfect. You stay out here on me. And then let our smaller guys, let our wings, let Brunson go ahead into the paint and not have to worry about you. Big difference when he's in the paint versus away from the basket.
Big 4 o'clock hour. Tim Legler is going to join us. Michael Kay will join us as well. It's Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg take you up until 7 o'clock, and then it's coverage of Game 1, Sixers-Knicks from the Garden on ESPN New York.
Chris Garland with you. Glad to be joined right now by Taylor Canfield. He is the U.S. Sail GP team driver. And we are all getting ready for the Mubadala New York Sail Grand Prix coming up at the end of May. Taylor, how we doing?
Yeah, we're excited for the home event in New York. And, can't wait to be there and racing in front of all the fans.
Now, what is your role as driver of the U.S. Sail GP team?
So as a driver, you kind of have two different roles. One is trying to help make sure that the boat is going, as fast as you can around the racetrack. And then in addition to that, it's kind of the decision maker on board, and using the information that I'm getting from the whole team and the coach booth to kind of make those split-second decisions around the racetrack.
It sounds like an awesome atmosphere. What's the energy going to be like sailing right at New York City?
There's no better feeling racing in front of the home crowd, representing our country, and hearing their cheering through our headsets that we have on board is, it gives me the chills just thinking about it. So we're pumped.
We're looking forward to the Mubadala New York Sail Grand Prix coming at the end of May. Taylor, thanks.
If you've been injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, then you need a lawyer who knows New York's unique personal injury and workers' compensation laws. At the Parisman Firm, they have decades of experience handling all types of accident cases and a proven track record of delivering huge results. Their team has already recovered nearly $1 billion for injured New Yorkers. From construction to car accidents and slips and falls, they've got you covered. Call the Parisman Firm now at 718-WORKERS, where your case is their cause. Get the justice you deserve today.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Bundling your home and auto with Progressive could help you save without sacrificing quality. It's the smart thing to do. And as a hockey fan, you always know the smart thing to do.
Shoot the puck!
And you let the players know it.
Shoot the puck!
All game.
Shoot it! Come on, shoot!
And sometimes even after.
Man, rough game, huh?
Yeah, they should have shot the puck.
So bundle your home and auto with Progressive. It's the smart thing to do. But you already knew that. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Harry Douglas here. PayPal is now the official peer-to-peer payment sponsor of the NFL, which means all the money moments that fandom creates, whether splitting tailgate costs or chipping in on tickets and game day food between friends, are covered. Wherever the game is played or watched, PayPal moves with fans. You can send money through text, email, or directly to friends with eligible accounts on Venmo. Just download the PayPal app and share all the moments that matter. Account with PayPal is required. Not available in all regions where PayPal operates.
880 ESPN, WHSQ, and WCBS-FM HD2, New York. A Good Karma Brands radio station.
Game Time is brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, because when it is game time, fellas.
I
like that.
It's totally time.
Mets Rockies coverage begins on 10:50 at 5 o'clock. You heard that right. The Mets are going to be on 10:50 whenever the Knicks are playing, starting today. Met game was originally scheduled for later tonight, but it's too cold in Colorado because it's May. Why would anybody expect it to be warm in May? So that game is now a 5:40 start. Coverage on 10:50 begins at 5. Knicks open up their Eastern Conference semifinal series with the Sixers at Madison Square Garden, and that game can be heard right here on 880 following us at 7 o'clock with Pat O'Keefe, and then 8 o'clock will be the tip, and the Yankees finish up their series with the Orioles at 7:05 as they're bringing out the brooms, if I'm not mistaken, as the Yankees are continuing to play well. Tullamore Dew, the original triple distilled, triple blended, and triple cast matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew. Or try the new Tullamore Dew Honey during today's action. Glasses up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly. Michael Kay will join us at 4:30 on the passing of John Sterling. But to talk about Game 1 and everything else NBA is our friend Tim Legler. And he joins us here on Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. How are you, sir?
What's up, fellas? How we doing?
Good. New York's pumped. They're excited. They're already buying tickets for the next series because, of course, they're going to beat the Sixers. And I worry about this, Tim. I worry about this team when they get into those situations where now they're expected to win. They seem to do better when they're up against the wall. Is that just me, or do you see a history where sometimes this team doesn't handle prosperity well?
Yeah, I think that's a fair point, and I think that's also probably true of a number of franchises, that particularly ones that I've always said, like in the Northeast corridor. I think those cities, and the media scrutiny, the fans, like the pressure, it's a pressure cooker for some of those teams. So when the expectations are there and it looks like the path has been laid, that's when you start to maybe feel it a little bit different. And by the way, I don't know. Look, they should be favored in this series, clearly. But I do think Philadelphia, and a lot of it's going to depend on Embiid being able to stay upright the entire series. Philadelphia is a team that's right now feeling pretty good about themselves as well, the way that they played at the tail end of that Boston series. They've got a lot of offensive weapons, and they've got guys that are difficult to contain. So I think Philadelphia is coming in at the right time, for them, having all of these guys back on the floor, having Embiid be as dominant as he was in the Boston series, but he still was on the floor a lot. He limps around a lot. So who knows, really, with him from game to game, how he's going to feel. But I do think the Sixers are going to be a formidable challenge to the Knicks.
Legs, would you say, this is the Sixers finally got to this season the team they thought they were going to have for the whole season? Is this the look? Because even when they played together, it didn't look like this. But whatever Nurse did adjustment-wise with the offense in the midst of that series with the Celtics, it's almost like a mirror image of the Knicks. Suddenly things changed, and that's a much different-looking offense than what you expected it to be with Embiid in there, isn't it?
No question. And it started, look, he came back for Game 4. It was not a pretty sight. There was a lot of booing going on. This was a team that had felt like they were in the series. It was 2-1 at that point, and everybody, of course, was piling on. He slows them down. Style completely changed. They got race cars on this team with Maxey Edgecombe. They need to get up and down the floor. Grimes, like guys like that. They want to play fast. He slowed them down, and that was the criticism as they're down 3-1 heading into that game with Boston, where Embiid now is a guy that comes in, and the first game I thought, like, man, like he was settling for far too many jumpers in the first half up in Boston.
Right.
And we called that game. And then in the second half, that's really when I thought that their identity sort of almost came to fruition right before your eyes. And it was a mixture. It wasn't all Embiid in the post or just playing through him there. He was catching it, though, in spots where he's at his best, and he was eating up the space, like on the catch from the three-point line. He was taking that one power dribble to the foul line area for the pull-up rather than shooting the trail three. He was working guys a little bit more in the post, like with an extra dribble to get deeper so he could shoot a little turnaround jumper or get to the rim. But it wasn't like that's all they did. They also played out of him with three-point shooting. They played and got some threes in transition, and that continued the rest of the series. And so I do think this is the best version that they could be of this group. And a lot of that also, by the way, hinges on Paul George. It's almost like that suspension that he got and the time that he missed. Coming back when he did, his legs feel a lot fresher than just about anybody else that's going to be in this series because he had that 2-month break. And so he's playing very well. And so now they've got these 4 weapons, and it's like clicking. And like Oubre is a good player. Quentin Grimes is a good player. They've got, decent backups in the middle as well. So this is going to be a really fun, intriguing series. And I think so far of all of the matchups we've seen, this is my favorite series to this point.
Now, watching the Celtics-Sixers series, it made me think, obviously I frankly hate the way Coach Mazzulla coaches his team, but that's neither here nor there. Mm-hmm. It seemed that, the Celtics were playing this just three-point nonsense nonstop, and they didn't particularly seem to have a body to put on Joel Embiid in regularly. And in a lot of situations, Embiid thrived as a result. I don't see the Knicks living and dying with the 3 the same week, and they have more bodies to put on Embiid. Is that a fair way to assess at least some of the differences between these 2 series for the Sixers?
There's no question. And look, when I go to that Celtics-Sixers series, that's how Boston plays offensively. I've been all over it for the last few years. Last year when they blew those games against the Knicks with all those 3-point shots they took with a big lead, and they never adapted. They didn't value time and score. So I've had some criticisms of them. They did it again in this series. So I actually, it's almost like though I expect it. Like this is what it is. They double down anytime you ask them about it. They're not going to change. So I was actually much more shocked by the defensive strategy against Embiid, and particularly the last game. I mean, if you think you're going to get by with switching guys that are 6'5", 6'6" onto Joel Embiid and think that they're going to be able to keep him from catching the ball where he wants, it's almost like child's play in that situation. The one thing they did that was effective was they went to a zone when they were down big in the second half, and it did stall their offense a little bit. It's just they stopped moving. But it wasn't really because it shut Embiid down. And then they actually went back to man-to-man later, and they had no faith except for Keita, who was he commits some very silly fouls in that series, and so he kept taking himself off the floor. He's the one guy that could have matched up. Now, obviously, with the Knicks, you got Karl-Anthony Towns, you got Mitchell Robinson. You've got some size there, and it's going to be up to them to do at least a decent job initially against him. And their wings are, like a guy like OG. He's a lot stronger than the wings that Boston was putting on him on these switches. So he could even do a decent job. But I thought the strategy against him defensively, to me, and the lack thereof, was the turning point in the series, much more so even than Boston missing all those threes, because we've seen that out of them a bunch.
Yeah.
They had to come up with a solution for the Joel Embiid problem, and they didn't have one. And I expect Mike Brown and the Knicks to have a much better plan, and they've got better personnel to deal with him.
Talking to Tim Legler here, Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. Game 1, Knicks and Sixers tonight on 880 with coverage beginning at 7 o'clock. You can catch the Mets today. That'll be on 1050. So the Sixers have an emotional Game 7 victory on a Friday, playing on Monday. That short turnaround, does that hurt them or help them?
Yeah, that's pretty tough. That's pretty tight turnaround. And I think that, it's actually their game was on Saturday night.
Saturday night, sorry.
Yeah, you're talking about 2 days later. You got to tee them up for a new opponent and go play. That's a tough turnaround. There's no question about it, and it doesn't give you as much time to figure out what your plan is going to be defending the Knicks, because really that's where the real preparation comes into a series. Is initially what's your game plan to defend this team? No, they see each other during a regular season, so they've got some things to go by. But it certainly you'd like to have an extra day or two to get ready for that first round series. That's definitely a disadvantage for them. And for the Knicks, the one thing I guess they would complain about is, and I said it on the air the night of the closeout game in Atlanta, I thought I just saw perfect basketball. That's the best they could possibly play. Right now you've got to take a break a little bit and wait. And so they would have loved to have played, I'm sure, 2 days later.
Right.
But so now let's see what they look like coming off of that just incredible performance against Atlanta to end that series.
So this is a big man matchup that we don't really get anymore in the NBA, right? Like you got Jokic and Gobert, but this is a little bit different because you got two guys that are really offensive-minded big men, and for the first time we're seeing the Knicks utilize Towns as a playmaker and a hub of the offense, which is a new wrinkle. A lot of times we talk about head-to-head matchups between two players. Do you see the Sixers having Embiid guard Towns away from the basket like that? And do you think the Knicks will have Towns even on Embiid knowing that he can get him into foul trouble, which is the last thing you want?
Yeah, that's a good question. They're going to mix it up. I mean, there are times it depends on how Karl-Anthony Towns is playing and what his mindset is and where he's catching the ball. There's a rhythm to the game that you could potentially get somebody smaller on him. And if he's going to spend more time out there, a Paul George or a Kelly Oubre or somebody like that can do it, and maybe you put Embiid more back on the edge of the lane and he could close out to a three-point shooter like a Bridges or something. Like you might see some of that, but for the most part, no, he's got to guard him. And the one thing that I'm very curious to see, and Mike Brown talked about this, they adjusted the offense during the season. They adjusted the offense in the middle of that series with Atlanta, and it was the best version of themselves. It was the best version of Karl-Anthony Towns because even though his scoring numbers were down, he wasn't getting a lot of shots. His inclusion in the offense and utilizing his size to pass the ball from that elbow top of the key area, particularly when they were running all those little rub action on the baseline. It looks like a flex cut where Brunson sets the back screen and then Brunson comes up. Towns was the guy up there dictating where the ball was going to go. And Atlanta had smaller guys on him. Like Okongwu is an undersized center.
Yes. Yeah.
Towns wasn't even feeling him there. So he could throw the ball right over the top. He could see everything. The facilitation became very easy through that lens. It's going to be a little bit tighter and more difficult to make those passes if you've got more size on you when you're catching the ball there. So if Embiid is out there and he's got his arms up and he's waving them and he's within, arm's length to contest a three, those passes are going to be a little bit harder for Towns in this series than they were in the Atlanta series. So I'm curious to see how, if any, it looks different with Karl-Anthony Towns and how they used him in the Atlanta series and how much praise he got for that. And the assist numbers dictated he should get the praise. Will it look quite like that against Philly? Because it's a different look size-wise on what's directly in front of him.
Tim, I want to go back to Friday for a second, and you're somebody that loves all sports. I'm trying to come up with a comp for Friday in the NBA. I can think of one in football, in hockey, in baseball. I can't think of an NBA comp where a team facing elimination in their own building get that outplayed the way the Hawks did. Can you?
No, I can't. We were watching history that night, and it was a 61-point game.
Unbelievable.
In a 3-2 series. This wasn't a 1-8 where, like, going in, you're thinking, you know what, this could be a sweep. And it's 3-0 already. And even then, a 61-point lead in that circumstance would be absurd. A 61-point game in a 3-2 series when you're at home,
right,
having a chance to extend it to a Game 7? No. I mean, it was. I'm still kind of stunned and shocked by what I watched, and honestly, not so much by the ineptitude of the Hawks that night. I was blown away by how good the Knicks were. And I said it on the air, man. If there's a better half of basketball that was played this year in the NBA, I want to see it, because I don't think there was. They were that forceful defensively, pressuring, denying, funneling the ball to the lane. Everything was contested at the rim. And then the shot making on the other end, because you can play that way defensively and not shoot like that, and it's still ultra impressive, and you're probably up 25 at half. and it's like, wow, what a performance. For them to do that defensively and then no one miss a shot, basically, for an entire half, no, never seen anything like it, man. It was just mesmerizing. I said to Mike Breen and RJ during one of the breaks, I said, if basketball's played in heaven, I think this is what it looks like. I mean, I'm pretty sure. Like, that's how good it was. It was that pure and that clean, man. You can't play better basketball.
Not for Atlanta.
Yeah, for Atlanta, that was hell.
That was hell.
Is this heaven? No, it's Atlanta.
Good point, man. They got on different elevators, yeah.
So sitting right here, we're out of the first round. What do your finals look like, and is there any difference from where we were just a round ago to now? In other words, did you have the Celtics there?
Yeah, I thought the Celtics absolutely were worthy of getting to the finals. Yes, they looked like a team. The Tatum injury hurt. I don't know how that would have played out at the end of that series. Obviously, that's a major loss, and that was a big part of why I think teams looked at them and said they can get to the finals. And one of the reasons I thought it was because I would describe them often this year as a team that did not contribute to their own demise. They were number one in the league in protecting the ball. They were number one in the league in protecting the paint defensively. They just didn't do things to beat themselves. They didn't make communication mistakes on closeouts where two guys run at a shooter and then one more pass, a guy's got it wide open three. Like, they talk through that stuff so well. And on top of it, they have these two really dynamic forwards that are tough matchups, and they got a lot of shooters. They absolutely look like a team that could get to the finals. But now, as we, this is how it works every round. You kind of got to recalibrate the landscape. Right now, for me, the Knicks are when all four of these teams left in the Eastern Conference, when they play their best basketball, the Knicks are the best team that's left. But that doesn't mean everybody gets to that level in a series. We know that. There could be unexpected guys go through a shooting slump that you don't see coming. So they've got to go now play. They're still not going to play as well as they did down in Atlanta in Game 6. You can't expect that. But they've got to go play like closer to their ceiling than these other teams. And if they do that, I think their ceiling is higher.
What about the bench matchup? They put a lot of minutes, Nick does, on those four guys, and he has to. Their benches, it's the lowest scoring bench left in the playoffs. They barely play. They don't play a lot of minutes at all. Could the minutes wait? And it's kind of coincidence that we're talking about minutes a year after, of course, with the Knicks, when that was always the conversation, because Mike Brown has really done a good job utilizing a bench, a rotation of four guys that have had impact in the playoff games already, versus a Philly bench that I think has been outscored by like 25 points in that Celtics series. Do you think that's going to be a key here, or is this still just about stars when you get this far in the playoffs?
I mean, ultimately, it's going to probably be more decided by stars. There's no question. There are going to be bench players in this series that on a given night have that X factor impact. And I think there's more guys I trust on the Knicks to do that. I think Mike Brown's come a long way. I think those guys know that he has confidence in them, and they can be inserted even into situations where maybe you're not expected because there's foul trouble, that guy rolls his ankle, whatever it may be, and now you alter it, and one of those guys gets inserted earlier, and they play a little bit longer than they normally do. I think he's done a pretty good job with that. I think for Nick Nurse, a lot of times with their bench, I think that they're he's hoping to ride out those minutes, and let's just try to hold our own rather than you feel really good about guys coming in and like really doing some damage. I think the Knicks have some guys that are more X factors in that way. Philadelphia does have Grimes. I think Grimes could be a big one in this series, and I thought his shooting helped turn that series around in the Philly matchup in Game 5. He had some dagger threes to help close that game, and it gave Philly an opportunity to get back for a Game 6 at home. They took care of business, and obviously we saw what happened in Game 7. But none of that happens without Game 5, and I thought Grimes was really big there. So he's a guy that sort of is capable of doing that, but I think there are more guys for the Knicks that on a given night can be part of the storyline that's written after the game, and that's all we're talking about here. But this is going to be about the stars. There's a lot of them. These are two really, really, really talented starting fives. And I'm just fascinated to see how these guys go at each other.
Tim, it's always a pleasure, man. Hopefully we'll talk to you later on in the playoffs.
No question, man. I cannot wait to be in the Garden for Game 2, man. We are looking forward to it.
We're looking forward to seeing you, too. That's Tim Legler. Does a great job on ESPN and breaking down not just this series between the Knicks and the Sixers, but all of the playoffs. Now, obviously, Alan, the Knicks are after a ring, but there are other rings in the world.
There's lots of other rings, and this will have a ring to it for you. It's Alan Hahn. I want to tell you about Rings End.
Wow.
Because the project at our house is starting to come together, guys. I'm getting fired up for it. We're getting closer and closer to demo day, which is, of course, my favorite day. It's, in fact, the only thing I'm good at when it comes to doing things around the house. My contractor, Michael, he's been talking about Rings End project manager, Andrew, and they are getting this thing all set up. Now, why Rings End? Because they work with pro contractors like my guy, Andrew, who build and remodel. I'm sorry, my guy, Michael, is the contractor, of course. They build and remodel for a living. The pros trust them, so I trust them, and you can too. They have premium brands in windows, doors, decking, paint, lumber, anything you want to do for your kitchen as well. We're doing doors, beautiful French doors that Andrew has set up and picked out for us that he feels is perfect for the project that we are working on. They have built-to-last high-end product lines that contractors rely on. They do it right. They don't do it over. Now, they're not a national chain. I've been telling you about them. They are local, regional expertise. 8 full-service lumber yards in Connecticut and Westchester County and 12 freestanding paint centers as well. Rings End is family-owned and operated since 1902. Deep Northeast roots. They know your house. They know the area. And they also know all the contractors and local builders in all your communities in this area. And if you can't make it to a store, everybody, no problem. Just shop online at ringsend.com. That's ringsend.com.
So I was thinking about it. I brought up the Giants blowing out the Vikings in the championship game.
It's a good one.
But that game was at Giants Stadium. The other one I thought of from a hockey standpoint,
on the road, no mas.
Game 7. But that was in Detroit when the Red Wings beat the Avalanche 7-0.
Yeah.
Lit Wah up.
Yeah.
Decisive Game 7. And then the other one, not to hurt your feelings, Alan, is the Game 7 at 04, Red Sox-Yankees.
Yeah.
At Yankee Stadium, 10-3.
No, that game was over. You knew it was over. You felt it was over. That was painful. Yeah. Pedro, right? Like that was pure dominance. That was the end of the innocence. Yeah. And the place was like it was a library in that building.
Well, it became Fenway North by the end of it.
By the end, you did have the loud Red Sox fan. But there, for the most part, in the middle of that game, you all of a sudden just had no juice at all for what that the size and magnitude of that game versus by the middle of the game, the reaction. Yeah, it was tough.
But even the examples I gave, 41-0, 10-3, 7-0. To be up 61 points on the road, I never seen anything like that in my life ever.
And the poor PA guy, just every time they'd hit a three, screaming three. That was bizarre.
And I think I did hear back from Tigger later that day.
Okay.
And it is. Did I say? Hold on. I said. No, I never asked him the question because he got back to me too late. I didn't hear back from him until 10 at night, so I didn't get an answer. So Don, my old mentor, who I interned for as a kid, who's a pretty kind of a hip hop legend, I'd say, is the PA guy for the Atlanta Hawks, and it's just a bizarre situation to be in. And then they had an artist perform at halftime.
Yes,
they were down 50 points.
Yeah,
and a real, I mean, he's not a big time artist, but has one huge record. But was performing at halftime.
They were killing the Mets last week when they were getting blown out. And they had the fire. When you got to still plan out the things you have, right? I mean, you can't abort it. Like,
no.
You invite somebody to sing at halftime. You've got certain things you're going to do. Nobody can expect that.
No,
how can anybody expect that?
No. You can't, and you got to keep going forward. So it's like it is what it is. If we plan to do something,
but you look like a tool,
thing,
you know it, but you got to.
You can't stop.
We paid for this stuff. You got to do it.
It's done. What's done is done. Now I was just looking here though, and we'll obviously have, a lot to discuss. But 7.5 point favorites the next time.
That seems high.
That's a bit. You know what that means?
Uh-oh.
They think it's continuing to just roll.
Yeah.
Like they're saying it's 4 straight blowouts.
Now
that's what Vegas says.
Are you falling for the banana in the tailpipe? Or are you saying no? It ends. It stops here. Doesn't mean they're going to lose. But 7's a big.
You just wonder if everything's even. That number's a lot lower. But for the Knicks coming off of not having played since Friday, and then the Sixers in Boston, emotional Game 7 win on a Saturday,
and then go right
one
to
day
New York.
off, and then go to New York. That has to affect the number. This is probably more like 5.5, 6.
Or maybe even lower.
Maybe
a 3.5, 4.
But still, that's high.
It is, but again, like it all.
Can you picture another? The question is, can we picture tonight's another laugher. And the Knicks just completely do what the Knicks do.
And it's like four
I'm not
going
to go laugher. But I do have an odd sense of confidence about like they know how they want to play now, and it's like everybody's kind of like on board with it.
Yeah,
and it's a matter of, as we know, we always simplify the NBA game, but if because they haven't played in a couple of days and they have practiced, of course, but you come out and you go 1 for 12 from 3 because everybody's rusty, now all of a sudden you've got a game. But because it's a quick turnaround for the Sixers and you're kind of cramming on what the Knicks do because there isn't – the last time these two teams played was February 11th. That was the last game before the All-Star break, fellas. There's two teams in totally different places now. So there's nothing really you can rely on other than here's what they're doing now. Let's just do a quick catch-up on what you need to do and then figure it out as the game goes on. So if you get off to a hot start, it could be – it could be quick. And getting that first one, especially at home, as we know with this Knicks team, you got to get that first one at home just to get yourself off to the right start. This is the time to take advantage of it.
They don't win series when they lose the first game at home. They don't. That's why this is such a pivotal game, especially where you have the Sixers coming off, and we played that game on Saturday in that Game 7 win against Boston. John Sterling passed earlier today at the age of 87. You're going to talk John Sterling, you talk to Michael Kay. He's going to be coming up next. Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg, ESPN New York.
The Knicks.
The Knicks beat the Hawks 140-89 and win this first-round series in 6.
The 76ers.
Well, you got to reset. You got to do it again. I always talk about the word consistency. We got to be consistent in being this version that we showed tonight.
The Eastern Conference semifinals.
We still have a long road to travel. Staying locked in and just knowing what we're capable of is it's really important.
Game 1 coverage begins tonight at 7 on 880 and the ESPN New York app.
If you're heading into summer without a medical emergency kit, you're taking a risk most people don't think about until it's too late. Summer colds linger and can turn into sinus infections that last for weeks. Getting sick right now before vacation can derail everything. And when you're traveling, finding a doctor and pharmacy is stressful. That's why I ordered a medical emergency kit. It's like having urgent care and a pharmacy right at home. It includes essential prescriptions like amoxicillin and generic Z-Pak to treat a wide range of common and serious illnesses. So if you wake up sick at home or on the road, you already have what you need. No waiting for your doctor, no hours at urgent care, no pharmacy lines, no copays. Just match your symptoms to the right prescription in your guidebook or call their telemedicine doctor standing by. Start on your meds sooner and feel better faster. Every home needs at least one medical emergency kit. Order yours online in minutes and it's shipped to your door. And save $45 with my promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880. That's promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880.
Some stages celebrate. This one tests everything. Every drive, every approach, every putt. Pressure builds, resilience matters, and history waits for the bold. In June, the 2026 U.S. Open Championship returns to the Hamptons at the iconic Shinnecock Hills Golf Club. Experience the world's best golfers as they compete on one of the sport's most storied stages. Daily tickets are available now on SeatGeek. Don't just watch greatness. Experience it live at the 126th U.S. Open.
Attention, New York Verizon mobile customers. Score a massive win with award-winning Fios home internet for an incredible $20 a month, guaranteed for 3 years. Switch today for savings you can count on. Call 1-800-VERIZON now. For new Fios customers with autopay, mobile and home, and bonus discount. Enrollment required. 3-year price guarantee applies to the Fios base monthly rate only. Additional terms apply.
Now let's take a look at the traffic with Brandy Scott.
Thanks so much, guys. We've got the Yanks home later on tonight over in the Bronx and some big issues at the inbound, George. Probably want to give yourself a generous head start. Some emergency roadwork on the upper deck blocking the left lane. Lower level, some more emergency construction. You're down to 1 lane. Going to run you at least an hour using 80-95. A little bit better from the 4 and 46 approaches. Deegan just packed both up and down. Heading over to the stadium with the volume for the outbound, George. Northbound, especially slow. You're hitting the brakes there from the Triborough and the Bruckner. Outbound Lincoln and Holland Tunnels are running about 10 to 15 minutes each. Some slowdowns on the Staten Island Expressway westbound heading over to the West Shore. Bunched up ride there from right after the Verrazano. This report is sponsored by the New York City Department of Transportation. Speeding ruins lives. Drivers, watch out for pedestrians and cyclists and slow your turns to less than 5 miles an hour. I'm Brandy Scott on 880 ESPN New York.
Harry Douglas here. I don't wait for birthdays to celebrate. I grab Confetti Craze 5-Hour Energy. It tastes like rich vanilla birthday cake with buttery funfetti goodness. Seriously, it's unapologetically extra in the best way. And it's sugar-free, so I get all that cake flavor without the guilt. It's tiny, portable, and ready for whenever I need a quick boost. I keep one with me because you never know when you'll need a little party energy. The Funfetti flavor is back on 5hourenergy.com or on Amazon. Crack open a Confetti Craze 5-Hour Energy shot today.
Less than 4 in 10 kids aged 6 through 12 are playing sports regularly. 4 in 10 kids? Let it sink in. Just 4 in 10 kids. ESPN is building a nationwide coalition powered by Disney called Take Back Sports, with the purpose of training more coaches, expanding access, and creating community-driven sports programming that puts kids and fun first. We're working on that story. We hope you'll join us.
Visit takebacksports.org to learn more.
Harry Douglas here. Let me ask you something. What if you can enjoy the taste of a cocktail, the warmth of a spirit, and still stay fully in control? That's RK Zero Proof, a pioneer in the alcohol-free spirits category. RK delivers bold flavor and a real warming sensation with 0 alcohol, 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and 0 calories. Perfect for nights out, social gatherings, or anytime you want the experience of a drink without sacrificing tomorrow. Check it out at rkbeverages.com. That's ARKAY beverages.com. RK, all the flavor, none of the alcohol.
Michelle Smallman here. PayPal is now the official peer-to-peer payment sponsor of the NFL, which means all the money moments that fandom creates, whether splitting tailgate costs or chipping in on tickets and game day food between friends, are covered. Wherever the game is played or watched, PayPal moves with fans. You can send money through text, email, or directly to your friends with eligible accounts on Venmo. Just download the PayPal app and share all the moments that matter. Account with PayPal is required. Not available in all regions where PayPal operates.
We all woke up today to the news that we lost John Sterling at the age of 87. And whether you're a Yankee fan or not, I mean, everybody who's familiar with his work and knew him or heard him, and it's a pretty significant loss in New York sports. And I got to listen to Michael Kay earlier today, and I was as emotional as he was because he just did a terrific job of painting the word picture, especially in that first hour. But you can't talk John Sterling without talking to Michael Kay. And just before he's got to go to work over at Yankee Stadium for the final game of the series against the O's, he's nice enough to join us. And, Michael, it was emotional, but one of the things we wanted to really get out of you today is the fun. You said something very interesting during your show that John would want us talking Knicks. John would want us to talk about how much he loved life. And one of the great things working with you, Peter and I were talking about it in all those years that we were together, you had the best John Sterling stories. And some of them are for the air, some aren't, but you know, it was just such a pleasure to hear those stories, and I really wanted to thank you for connecting us with John.
Well, thank you. And you know what? He loved you, Don, and I know you told the story about how he called you. He was as happy, I don't know, as happy as you, but when he heard that you got the Devils job, that meant the world to him because he realized people live in dreams. You know, he wanted to be the Yankee announcer since he was 6 years old, and he realized your love for the Devils. And when you got it, he called me up and said, Michael, I need Don LaGreca's number. And obviously he used it right away and called you. And then I was listening, driving to the ballpark, and he said that he even called you, like, after the first game. So that's the type of guy he was. It was amazing. And the best way I could put it, guys, and not to get too maudlin, life for him, life was a cocktail hour. You know, he just wanted to have a scotch in his hand and be well dressed and have good conversation, and that's what he was about. He just enjoyed every second of his life, and he did it on his own terms, and he did it the way he wanted to do it. He didn't like being told what to do. He didn't like rules. I told this story on the show. You know, we were waiting for customs in Canada, and I'm standing next to him, and he goes, I don't get it. I don't get it. I said, what don't you get, John? He goes, why do we need rules? Why can't you just go anywhere you want, any place you want? There shouldn't be borders. People should just do whatever they want. I said, well, that would be anarchy, John. He goes, no. People would be happier. That's the way life should be, and that's the way he lived his life.
So that's the thing that's always funny to me about your guys' friendship, Michael, is that in some ways, like your
We're
shared.
so different.
Yeah, your shared love of baseball is so different. But like, you know, with all due respect, I consider you a dear friend. Sometimes you're like a little bit scared of life and taking big risks. He seemed like a guy who just lived by the seat of his pants. How did you guys sort of, you know, get along socially?
Because we like to have fun. We both like women, and that helped. And we had a shared admiration of pretty ladies, and so and we could talk sports. And we pretty much had the same views on certain things, and I envied him. I really did, simply because of the fact that he did not let stress affect his life, and maybe that's why he lived to such a ripe old age. And he did not let the bad guys get you down, and just he concentrated on all the positives. The only time I ever see him get down is when he would get ripped by the radio and TV columnists. He didn't understand why they were so mean-spirited, and that's the way he did his job. And the thing that kept him going, though, and got him out of those moods, is that the way he was received by Yankee fans, how much they loved him, and how they would walk up to him and do the Yankees win and do all of his calls and things like that. That meant the world to him, because that gave him validation that, that's who he's doing the games for anyway. He's not doing the games for the guys that don't like his style, because most of the guys that do radio and TV criticism, they're pretty much old school. And John was not an old school broadcaster. He did a baseball broadcast like nobody else did a baseball broadcast. He wanted, he once told me he wanted it to seem like, a cocktail hour. Like when we were doing the game and somebody would walk into the radio booth, he'd go, "Oh, look who just walked in. John LaGreca just walked." And he explained that to me. He said, "I want people that are listening to feel like it's a party, and they want to know who's coming in next. This is the hottest party in New York. Who's coming into the Yankee booth? What are they talking about? What are they joking about? Let's eavesdrop on that." And that's the way he fashioned the broadcast. And the guy before me in the Yankee radio booth, Joe Angel, when they first started, he said, "Don't ask me questions on the air." And John knew that was a relationship that was not going to last. And with me, he could ask me anything, and we had conversations, and we broadcasted as if the people that were listening were just eavesdropping, and they wanted to be part of the party. And that was, very crafty of him, and it was designed that way. And I think that a lot of Yankee fans felt like that. And on top of everything, guys, while we were in the booth for those 10 years, they did an awful lot of winning. And John once told me, if you bring people good news, they're going to like you. And he was right.
Michael, I never got to meet him, and it's one of my greatest regrets in life, but also there's a part of me, because I only knew the character and the voice, and it was so connected to me in my, early years before I was even a full-time sports writer. I was a part-timer, driving home, listening to the calls, staying in the driveway, like you had people calling in today saying about sitting in the driveway waiting for the inning to end because I just want to hear the rest of the inning. So just sitting there, listening to it. And it first of all made me think of two things as I listened to your show. The first one was to make sure that you know that we love you, because that's not said enough when we're together. And you are also one of these people that is associated, the voice and personality associated with a lot of great Yankee baseball. That needs to be said, and you need to embrace that first and foremost. But second, the amount of calls that you got from people that talked about exactly what you were saying that John loved so much, which is the response he would get from fans. Like, how much does that, or how much does that tell you what a broadcaster can mean to a fan base when critics say what they want, they're miserable people? But it really does matter how the fans feel about what you say and what you do and your style with the team that they love. It's their favorite show. And 36 summers they watched that show, and he was the main character.
Everybody, Alan, everybody loves affirmation. To know that what you're doing is appreciated and that people listen and they enjoy what you're doing. So that is it's a really big deal. I know it meant a lot to John. When he would come into a booth, I was at a diner today reading the newspaper. A couple of people came up to me and did the Bernie call to me. Oh, it's such a great feeling. And he told stories like that all the time. So it meant the world to him that the Yankee fans appreciated him. And he knew that, Stick in the Buds didn't quite get it. And that was fine. And like he would tell me, the last 2 years, I think he at least got a nomination for the Hall of Fame. And he told me I'll never make it. He said, because I'm just not that style. I'm not the style that the people that vote are looking for it. And he was probably he was right on that. And it's sad that I was going to say this on the show today, and it moved so fast I never got a chance. I wish that John didn't die today, but people thought he died so that he could hear everything that people were saying.
Yeah.
Because that would really mean the world to him. All the love that's coming from all these disparate factions, like Met fans were calling in today. I hate the Yankees, but I would listen to Yankee games to hear John Sterling. That would really be special to him, but at least maybe his children are going to hear it and realize how much of an impact their dad made.
Now, you touched on this a little bit during your show, but I want the audience to hear why he always wore a suit. Full disclosure, radio, you usually don't have to wear a suit because you're not on television. Especially in baseball with so many games, you see guys with just polo shirts, and sometimes if it's really hot, you'll wear shorts. He's still dressed impeccably. And why the stand-up mic instead of the headset mic?
Well, the stand-up mic was because he only had his earpiece in one ear, and he jacked that up as loud as you could. So, I know what he went through because you end up losing most of your hearing because of it. And so the stand-up mic, he could hear himself better. He felt it was a better mic than the one that you have the wraparound, with the headset on.
Right.
And he didn't want to have both ears. He didn't want to lose the hearing in both ears, which made sense. So he had the earpiece in one ear and then the stand-up mic. As for the jacket and tie, I really believe he just felt, like I said earlier, life was a cocktail hour. And, he wanted to do respect to the job, and he felt there should be a respect to the job. And he was the voice of the New York Yankees, and he had to represent himself in that way. He always had the white handkerchief coming out of the breast pocket, or a crisp white shirt. And, in the summers, he would wear white pants, and he'd wear bucks and stuff like that. He had a distinctive style about him. And then when he would get back to the hotel, when we were on the road, he would get spruced up, put on more cologne, and then the cocktail hour would really ramp up in the hotel bar. So he lived life to the fullest. He really did. I don't think there was a day that went by that he didn't enjoy. That's why it's so hard today for me, because I can't even picture him dead.
No.
He was so full of life. I thought he would live on forever, but thankfully his calls will live on forever. And, just before I came on the air, Aaron Boone told a great story. If you see after every Yankee win, guys, Aaron Boone turns around and he shakes hands with his coaches and puts his arms around his coaches. And if you wondered what he says, you know what he says when they're celebrating a win? He'll turn around to them and he goes, "Yankees win, the Yankees win." That's what he's saying in the dugout. And, John hasn't done a game in, a couple of years now, but he lives on in that Yankee dugout. And Aaron said that when he first became manager and they would call somebody up, when he was in the car driving home, he would anxiously listen to see what the home run call was for the new player. So it became a thing. It became a team for all the. It became a thing for the players. And I was in the car when you read the Derek Jeter release. That is so unbelievably heartwarming. He said he's just as important as a lot of the Yankee players. And he lasted 36 years. There's never been a Yankee player that lasted 36 years. I think Derek had the longest run of all. And as I was walking up here, and it's been an emotional day for me. It's certainly not about me, but Hal Steinbrenner said, John was part of the family, and that tells you what the Yankees think of him as well. And he was part of the family, and not only of the Yankees, but of everybody that listened to games. For 36 summers, he was their buddy.
We're talking to the great Michael Kay about the passing of his dear friend and former partner John Sterling, and Michael, he has a child named Derek, and the triplets thing always sort of blew my mind. Did he ever tell you anything just about being a father to triplets? It is a pretty unique. His life was unique in a million ways, but that's just another really unique piece.
I think it wore him and Jennifer out. I think it was a shock when it happened, and it became sometimes too much for John. And he loved those kids with every fiber of his soul. But when you're raising one, Peter, and Don, you're raising two, and I'm raising two, and it's a lot of work. So they have the older daughter Abby, and then they have three infants. And the best story I could tell about John, how he lived life on his own terms. He was at the hospital when the triplets were born, and then he was in the booth for Game 2 of the 1998 World Series, and then he was on the charter going to San Diego, and Scott Brocious came up to him and said, "John, didn't you just have kids today?" "Yes, I did, Scott." He said, well, "Why are you on the plane?" "Oh, nothing more I could do. I've done my part."
Oh, end it with a great laugh. Michael, have a good game tonight, man, and our condolences, man. It's a tough loss.
Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate the time.
Love you,
All
buddy.
right.
You did great today. Thanks,
was,
man.
terrific stories. That's what I wanted to have. I wanted to be able to get some laughs because he's
Well, that Michael, listen, you know what an impression becomes how you picture someone? It's like how Will Ferrell's George Bush became George Bush.
Right, yeah.
Michael's John Sterling to me is John Sterling. Well, when I do an impression, I'm only doing an impression of Michael's
impression of him, yeah.
Sterling. But I'm glad we were able to laugh a bit with him,
He
too.
told the story earlier about that flight to Minnesota where they heard tremendous turbulence and players are praying in the aisles and the oxygen masks drop and people really thought, and John's just reading the newspaper. Casually just moves.
He's reading a mystery novel
because he was on the
he
plane.
Had the book in front of his face. Susan also told the story, and she had more detail. He's reading a mystery novel. He's holding it up in front of his face. He's not affected at all by the turbulence, and everybody's screaming. The oxygen mask drops down, and he brushes it aside.
Yeah.
And then he starts chortling, laughing, because it fell down in front of his face, while everybody else, of course, was thinking, these were the end of time.
Because he just knew he was on the plane. He was okay, that he wasn't. And then when Michael said, I just can't believe that he's gone, I don't think the way John lived life, he had no plans of going anywhere.
Yeah.
He was just, and that he lived life every second.
Sorry, Don. Hearing Michael say that, that kind of chokes you up a little bit. Just that's when somebody's that close to you, you spent that much time with somebody. I mean, that many hours and the mileage and everything else that goes with it. And then just to say, it's still, I can't believe he's gone. Probably because I don't think he can. And maybe it won't even be reality until, the funeral, basically.
Oh, yeah, just unbelievable stuff. Now, just a quick reminder, Knicks are going to be on 880 beginning at 7 o'clock with Pat O'Keefe. So the Met game, which begins at 5:40, coverage at 5 o'clock, can be heard on 1050. So we want to thank the Mets for making that move. And as long as the Knicks are on this run and they collide with the Mets schedule-wise, the Mets will be on 1050 and the Knicks will be on 880. So, again, we thank the Mets for that. We'll hear from Aaron Boone. He spoke before the game about Sterling. Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg up until 7 o'clock here on ESPN New York.
The Knicks.
The Knicks beat the Hawks 140-89 and win this first-round series in 6.
The 76ers.
Well, you got to reset. You got to do it again. I always talk about the word consistency. We got to be consistent in being this version that we showed tonight.
The Eastern Conference semifinals.
We still have a long road to travel. Staying locked in and just knowing what we're capable of is it's really important.
Game 1 coverage begins tonight at 7 on 880 and the ESPN New York app.
Prizes, flyaways, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting ESPNNewYorkContests.com.
That's ESPNNewYorkContests.com.
Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. That's right, turn $5 into $150 in bonus bets just for getting started. FanDuel makes it easy to get closer to the action, from player props on your favorite stars to all the tools you need to back them up. It's everything you need all in one app. So don't miss your shot. Head to FanDuel.com/local to get started. New customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. That's right, turn $5 into $150 in bonus bets just for getting started. FanDuel makes it easy to get closer to the action, from player props on your favorite stars to all the tools you need to back them up. FanDuel, an official partner of the NBA. Play your game. 21 plus and physically present in New York. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Front with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Hi, this is Don LaGreca. I'm big on having the right game plan on the ice and at home, which is why I use Viking Pest Control myself as the pest control provider and proud partner of the New Jersey Devils. Viking has been protecting homes for over 45 years with expert pest control service and solutions tailored just for you. From ants and cockroaches to rodents, stinging insects, and backyard mosquitoes, Viking keeps pests out of your house and out of the play. Bundle pest control with mosquito services and save big. One call, one company, total peace of mind. Visit VikingPest.com. Viking Pest Control, protecting your home inside and out.
At City Harvest, we believe no New Yorker has to go hungry. With your help, we're on the road 365 days a year, rescuing over 77 million pounds of nutritious food and delivering it free to millions of New Yorkers, transforming surplus food into sustenance, sustainability, and smiles, rallying thousands of New Yorkers to power a network of nourishment across our city. One day, one meal, and one New Yorker at a time. That's how we feed good.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Markdowns for Miles at AutoZone.
Thanks. Is oil marked down?
Save up to $15 when you buy 5 quarts and a filter.
And fuel treatment?
2 for $9 on Lucas.
Brake pads?
Marked down to free.
Free?
Get free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 Duralast rotors.
That's several markdowns.
For many more miles.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Evan Cohen here. Game day brings the excitement. Your stay should feel just as memorable. With Marriott Bonvoy, official hotel partner of the NCAA and U.S. Soccer, you're connected to a portfolio of brands designed for how you travel. Some offer complimentary breakfast, others give you room to spread out, space to stay productive, or extended stay comforts. So whether you're a traveling fan or part of the team, Marriott Bonvoy celebrates the moments that live on before and after the game. Marriott Bonvoy, where game day checks in.
Sail GP is the ultimate race on water, where international teams go head-to-head in F-50 catamarans flying over 60 miles per hour. Think you know who's taking the win in Bermuda? Make your pick on the ESPN New York app. Get it right, and you'll be entered to win an exclusive meet and greet with Sail GP athletes at their team base at the Mubadala New York Sail Grand Prix. Make your pick now and get closer to the action with Sail GP. Sail GP. High speed, high stakes. The ultimate race on water. Landing in New York, May 30th and 31st.
Now, Mets-Rockies coverage will be on 1050 today starting at 5 o'clock. So in 9 minutes, coverage on 1050. Knicks-Sixers immediately following us on 880 at 7 o'clock. Thanks to our partners with the Mets, and every Knick game is going to be heard on 880 for the remainder of the playoff run if there's any kind of scheduling conflict. So the Mets didn't have to do that, so good job by them to do that. So the game tonight, you can hear it over on 1050. The Knicks you'll be able to hear 7 o'clock with Pat O'Keefe right after us here on 880, and that's the way it's going to go every time the Mets and the Knicks are up against each other during this playoff run. Ryan M. Spader on Twitter, don't know who this is, but apparently he did the math. And according to him, John Sterling called 28.7% of all Yankee games in franchise history, including 47.5% of their postseason games.
Wow.
Well, when you're doing that many games, right?
Who's the only, I think, was it Scooter, right, that Rizzuto did 40 years?
Yeah.
So only he did more.
Yeah,
Right?
but a lot of that was on television, so there's a lot of games that weren't. The national television took them away.
Mm-hmm.
And believe me, Scooter didn't do 5,000 straight games.
No, I'm talking about
Sterling's
years.
sick.
I'm just talking about
right,
the
yeah.
years.
Well,
no one else did more years. So if John's doing every game, that's that maths.
Yeah, but that's pretty incredible for a franchise that's been around for over 100 years. That nearly 30% of Yankee games were called by John Sterling. Aaron Boone spoke before the game, and of course Sterling was the topic of conversation. And Boone just talked about Sterling specifically.
One of a kind, an amazing career, an amazing life, the soundtrack for so many New Yorkers and Yankee fans over the years. You know, I know like a lot of Yankee fans, anytime there's a big moment or a big game or something, like, man, I couldn't wait to get home and I want to hear how John called this. And just such a nice man. Like, there's so many times, you know, when we're traveling, the traveling party, we get in somewhere in the middle of the night, we're maybe going through a rough patch during the year or a good patch, and he'll pass on by me in the front row on the bus there and just say something sweet, funny, encouraging. And one of my favorite things is that, to me, embodies John is when the foul ball hit him in the booth and he just, ow. Like the boyish 6-year-old reaction that he just kind of spews out like, ow, I'm okay. Like, to me, encapsulates him so much. I've heard a lot of great tributes today. I listened to Susan talk about him, but just awesome. A giant in the sport, did it his own way, walked to his own beat as much as you can, and truly one of a kind. And a sad day, but also one where we get to celebrate an iconic figure.
Talked about his favorite Sterling calls.
You know, when we win, I still do this. And my coaches look at me like I'm nuts. I don't even know if they know what I'm doing. But as soon as that final out is made and I get up to shake players' hands, I go, ball game over. Yankees win. Duh! Yankees win. And I've shaken all my coaches' hands, so I got goosebumps thinking about that. So I love that. I heard some great calls on the radio today. I mean, Jeter's 3,000 hit, the home run, like, man, I heard that played back today. I'm like, man, what a great call that was. My home run in 03 was obviously Charlie Steiner called because it was an extra innings. And Susan once handed me a tape when I was with ESPN in for a game and said John made a tape of him calling it. Which is so John. God. Would you give this to Boone for me?
That is insane. That is
so
hilarious.
It's a sad day. It is. But what a life and what an amazing character John was.
That's
That's
unreal.
crazy. I never heard that story. That is
so
amazing.
good. What does that say?
Oh, my God. That is
like how much it meant to him that he was like, I want to have the call.
Oh.
So you just do it on your own?
I've never heard of that.
You know what, Don, I think you should go back. And Jason Arnott's goal, you should probably call that.
I couldn't do it, but John got away with it because he was John Sterling. Garrett Cole on his favorite John Sterling call.
There's like anticipation to, especially young guys, to see what he would come up with. You know, he was so good at it for so long. My personal favorite is Burn, Baby, Burn. I mean, that one got me fired up, you know, and so I think that's one thing we'll very much miss, you know, the little idiosyncrasies, the extra knowledge that he would bring, the little tidbits, and just the charisma.
I got to tell you, it feels pretty rare to me that players have such a connection to an announcer. And if they do, it sometimes ends up being the TV guy because, especially in modern baseball, right, Alan, like they'll go back and watch the game.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's
they
always
might,
on in the clubhouse,
you know,
too.
and I always think about that, too. Like, after I call a Devil game, I get on the plane, and the coaches are all watching the game back. I'm like, so they might hear the calls because they got to watch the game back. But the radio call, how would they ever hear it? Because, you know, you're not going back and listening to the radio call. You might catch it during a highlight or something driving back from the ballpark. Mm-hmm. But he made a connection, and that's very rare. I mean, he was around forever, but you know these players, they're self-absorbed, a lot of them, and, you know, they don't even understand what goes on with the announcer. They know who the announcer is, and I'm not saying that they don't have any relationship, but to have that kind of love for somebody, it just shows you he was around forever, but he made a connection to players that sometimes announcers, especially on the radio side, never get a chance to do. That's pretty rare.
You know what we need on Wednesday.
Oh, yeah. All right, this is tailor-made.
We're gonna need a top
calls.
5 from you, buddy.
All right.
It's either calls, you know, nicknames, some sort of Sterling list.
I will be curating over the next 48 hours.
Do the right thing
to get that done. Big
Love
5 o'clock hour. 1-800-919-3776. The Knicks big game tonight against the Sixers. That's why Alan's over at Madison Square Garden. We can talk about John Sterling. Yankees big weekend. Mets actually took 2 out of 3. Woo!
Can you believe it?
Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg up until 7 o'clock here on ESPN New York.
If you're heading into summer without a medical emergency kit, you're taking a risk most people don't think about until it's too late. Summer colds linger and can turn into sinus infections that last for weeks. Getting sick right now before vacation can derail everything. And when you're traveling, finding a doctor and pharmacy is stressful. That's why I ordered a medical emergency kit. It's like having urgent care and a pharmacy right at home. It includes essential prescriptions like amoxicillin and generic Z-Pak to treat a wide range of common and serious illnesses. So if you wake up sick at home or on the road, you already have what you need. No waiting for your doctor, no hours at urgent care, no pharmacy lines, no copays. Just match your symptoms to the right prescription in your guidebook or call their telemedicine doctor standing by. Start on your meds sooner and feel better faster. Every home needs at least one medical emergency kit. Order yours online in minutes and it's shipped to your door. And save $45 with my promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880. That's promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880.
Now let's take a look at the traffic with Brandy Scott.
Thanks, guys. Just an awful ride at the inbound George. Emergency roadwork on both the upper and lower decks. We've got the Yanks home later on tonight in the Bronx. Definitely want to give yourself a head start if you're heading that way from Jersey. Going to run you at least an hour using 80, 95, and 46. A little bit better from the Route 4 approach. Deegan just packed both up and down, heading over to the stadium with the volume for the outbound George. Rough ride on the West Side Highway northbound. Approaching the outbound George, we've got a broken down car on that ramp to the Cross Bronx. Pack there. Delays go back to the 79th Street Boat Basin. Outbound Lincoln and Holland tunnels are running about 10 to 15 minutes each. Heavy ride on the LA eastbound, getting through Queens, bumper to bumper between the BQE and Cross Island. This report is sponsored by the New York City Department of Transportation. Speeding ruins lives. Drivers, watch out for pedestrians and cyclists and slow your turns to less than 5 miles an hour. I'm Brandy Scott on 880 ESPN New York.
Evan Cohen here. PayPal is now the official peer-to-peer payment sponsor of the NFL, which means all the money moments that fandom creates, whether splitting tailgate costs or chipping in on tickets and game day food between friends, are covered. Wherever the game is played or watched, PayPal moves with fans. You can send money through text, email, or directly to your friends with eligible accounts on Venmo. Just download the PayPal app and share all the moments that matter. Account with PayPal is required. Not available in all regions where PayPal operates.
Hey, it's Rich Eisen for Pella Windows and Doors. Sometimes teams take a timeout to regroup and call the right play. When it comes to your home, Pella Windows and Doors always has the winning game plan. They're not just window and door experts. They're experts at taking care of you and your home. At Pella, they find the products that meet your needs and their experts install them. They do it every day, and that's why your neighbors trust them. Discover why Pella is a trusted choice for homeowners everywhere. Visit Pella.com/Eisen today. That's Pella.com/Eisen.
ESPN New York, now streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe today and watch the show. WHSQ and WCBS FM HD2, New York.
Game Time is brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, because when it's game time, fellas.
It's time. It's totally time.
Mets Rockies underway on 10:50. Coverage has already started. So we just want to remind you again, when the Knicks and the Mets play at the same time, the Mets will be on 10:50, the Knicks will be on 8:80. So we appreciate that from our partners over the Mets to get that done. That means the Knicks will be on 8:80 with Game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals with the Sixers at MSG, and it'll begin right at 7 o'clock with Pat O'Keefe here on 8:80 after us, and the Yankees finish up their series. It's a wraparound 4-game series against the Baltimore Orioles at 7:05. Tullamore Dew, the original triple distilled, triple blended, and triple cast matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew and try the new Tullamore Dew Honey during today's action. Glasses up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly. Obviously, the Knicks are a big story, and, of course, the passing of John Sterling. I'm really surprised, guys, and I guess I shouldn't be surprised, because I do think sometimes there's a New York bias when it comes to announcers in the Hall of Fame. And I know Chris Carino just entered the Basketball Hall of Fame, and well-deserved. Sam Rosen is in the Hockey Hall of Fame, also very well-deserved. Mike Breen in the Basketball Hall of Fame as well. All right, John Sterling was unconventional. I get it. And there were some mistakes down as he got older. But just the fact that he called 5,000 consecutive games for the New York Yankees, all those championships, how is he not in the Hall of Fame? And then what they'll do is they'll put him in a couple of years, posthumously. And
Which sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I felt this way with Pat Burns when they put him in after he had passed away.
Who votes for that?
I don't know.
Because you'd think, just, again, lifetime achievement type stuff, right? You know he retires, you understand. Like, anybody that's voting should have a pretty good feel. When you're voting for the Ford Frick, you got to know all the guys that would be up for it and say to yourself, you know what, the amount of years he's put in, the amount of time and dedication he's put in, and the historic games that he has called, how do you not put him in? Like, wouldn't you feel weird if you won it and you're like, I mean, I guess I have to accept this, but shouldn't he get it first?
Well,
you know what I mean? Like, there comes a time where you should acknowledge somebody who's put it 36 years, man.
Well, that's the thing.
I don't understand. Who's voting?
How do you obviously in sports, there's stats, there's championships, and there's the eye test. That's a great player. You just don't put Cal Ripken in the Hall of Fame because he had the Ironman record. He was an amazing shortstop. He was a great player. Right? Like you can wrap your mind around why somebody's a Hall of Famer or not. But from a broadcasting standpoint, you wouldn't get the job unless you were very good, especially in New York, especially with the New York Yankees, right?
Yeah.
They're not giving those jobs to chimps, as Michael would say.
Mm-hmm.
All right? But it's all preference, right? Because I could see people like, John Sterling's not exactly my cup of tea. But that's not how you grade a player. You don't go, Wayne Gretzky was good, but you know what? I just didn't like the way he played, so I'm not going to put him in the Hall of Fame. No, you got to put him in the Hall of Fame. He's a great player.
His style.
So the only thing you really have to go by is he was the New York Yankee announcer for 36 years, called over 5,000 consecutive games. Some of the most iconic plays in the history of baseball happened with John Sterling on his watch. Shouldn't that be enough? Not somebody sitting there going, well, you know what? I think Scully's better or Cohen's better or this one. Like, that's all just preference, right? He called these games, and if you want to tell me about the slippages, the mistakes, you tried doing stuff in your 80s, okay?
Well, live stuff for hours on end.
So when you're grading out broadcasters, doesn't the longevity speak for most of it? So I don't get it.
I can't explain it. I would want somebody to explain it, but I can't explain it. It doesn't make sense. Just, again, who else has – I'm just going to look it up out of curiosity. But who else has won it that you would say, well, it's well-deserved? Yeah.
And I'm sure everybody that we would list, if I was to look it up now, are well-deserved, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's still kind of preference, right? Like, all right, did he call nationally televised games? All right, no. Again, it's not just – I know it's about the greatest broadcasters of all time, but again, that still falls into the category of is he my cup of tea or not, right? Does he obviously had the voice, and he painted the word picture well. He added to the abilities of it, right?
But the voters are living Frick recipients and reportedly esteemed members of the field.
When did John retire?
2024.
Okay, so Joe Castiglione won in 24. Tom Hamilton won in 25. Joe Buck won. It says for 26.
Right.
And before, like, you can't argue any of those names.
No,
right?
I mean these are big names, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that Pat Hughes called games for the Brewers and the Cubs. I know Pat Hughes. I'm familiar with his work because I'm a baseball fan.
Okay.
But most people probably don't know who he is because they're not Cub fans or Brewer fans, and it's not like the Brewers and the Cubs have played a ton of games in the playoffs and in the World Series.
I mean, 40 plus years though.
No, but again, he's well deserved.
Yeah.
But you're talking about 40 plus years of broadcasting baseball for John Sterling because before that he was doing the Brave games. Mm-hmm. So he's got just as much longevity as anybody else. Called more iconic games for an iconic franchise, and I bet you walking around all over the United States, people know John Sterling's name because it's the Yankees, right? So, again, I'm not throwing any shade at the people that are on here. They're all well-deserved to be there. So what is it about John Sterling that you can't put him among these names when I think he's more famous than a lot of these guys? Joe Buck, different story, nationally televised games. But if Joe Buck had just done the Cardinals his entire life and you never knew him for football and national baseball, would he be as well known as John Sterling? It's crazy. And
Al Michaels is on this 2021.
Well deserved.
Yeah.
But
Buck
obviously
Harrelson in 2020. Costas is on this. I mean, baseball name.
It's a lot of national names, though, if you're being honest.
It's yes, it is a lot of national announcers here, but there are some local guys, some former players who were, in the booth, who also got the call.
All right. So again, not disparaging them. I'm just saying, how is John Sterling not among these other peers? because he sang occasionally, or maybe did he disrespect the game with all the nicknames? I'm sorry, that kind of jazzes it up a little bit for me, right? It never came at the expense of what was happening on the field. Yeah. And the fans loved it. So and again, they'll probably decide to put him in next year or the year after, and that'll be nice, and his family and his kids will get a chance to enjoy it. But if there's anybody on the face of the earth who would have enjoyed it as much as John Sterling, show me. He would have had an amazing speech, really would have appreciated. You heard what Michael said.
Yep.
The one thing among the many things that he passed today is that he's not here to hear all the accolades everybody's throwing at him. And what more of an accolade would you want to get than going to the Hall of Fame and being considered one of the great broadcasters of all time?
Well, he is on a long list of many greats who have been overlooked by bodies that decide, quote, halls of fame.
And you know what? Because we love the music analogies, right? You know who he kind of reminds me of from a music standpoint? Kiss. Kiss was an iconic band. But they wore makeup, and they were kind of gimmicky.
I love this comp.
You know, and so they didn't really go about it like a lot of rock bands did.
It's a brilliant comp.
It helped them super popularity with the Kiss Army and everything else. But the highbrow people at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame were like, oh, well, I don't know if they're one of us. They had to wear makeup, and they had to make movies, and they had to have a fan club, and he had to spit fire and blood. But that was their charm, and they were amazingly popular and made great music, and eventually they ended up in the Hall of Fame. But people felt that it was way longer than it should have been, and luckily, Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley were all able to still. Ace Frehley and Peter Criss were still alive to be able to appreciate going in. John won't be. But you see the comp.
I love the comp
because he kind of went about it off the beaten
It's just
path.
different. It just doesn't sound like the rest. It doesn't look like the rest. In the case of Kiss, doesn't look like the rest. In the case of John, just doesn't sound quite like the rest. You're different. You're offbeat. You're making up funky nicknames. There's a humor to what you do.
But does that make him less great?
No, but not at all. But it makes the serious people say you're not serious. You wear makeup, the Kiss. You're not serious. Meanwhile, one, respectfully, is a baseball announcer. The other is a rock and roll band. Is it all about being serious?
I thought it was about entertaining your audience.
Right, it is
and getting
entertainment.
people to care. And you know what? There's a lot of Yankee fans that love him for that. And, yeah, you could have brought in somebody that was straight-laced and never made a mistake and did everything the way it's supposed to be done, and it would have the same stats as John Sterling and go to the Hall of Fame. But would he be as revered? Would he be as remembered?
Remembered,
the way Yankee fans remember him?
Remembered, no. There is something personal to like I said earlier, there is something about John having a personal history with the franchise that it matters to him. Right?
Yeah.
I just think you heard that in his voice, that it's personal to him. It doesn't mean that, like in 2001, he calls it like a straight-up homer, sounding depressed and disappointed. No, because he loves baseball. Game 7, walk-off win for the World Series. He had the enthusiasm of somebody going, can you believe? Like, this is what a moment, right? Like, just like it came out because that's what he is.
Because he was a pro.
But there still is, on the daily, a game in July, series against the Marlins, somebody hits a home run and he's giving you enthusiasm because every game mattered to him.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that does. I don't think it's as easy as you think. When people say this, it's not. Because, like, Don, again, you're doing it right now for the first time in your life, where it's your call. That's the team of your youth. It matters to you, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going through it in a similar way, but I don't call games. I get to do some. But for me, it's still the preparation every day for a January game against the freaking Memphis Grizzlies. But I'm still putting in 2 hours, sending out the emails, because it just matters. You care about it. So, yes, when you have success, when a team wins, it means a little extra. When a player comes along, for me, Jalen Brunson, and you just know it, it gives you a little extra juice. That stuff you cannot fake. You can't be a guy who came in from Kansas City because you have a great voice and know baseball and call the Yankees, and you have no background in the franchise. I'm sorry, it's different. It's also what makes Michael special in him calling it. Mike Breen. Gary
Yeah,
Cohen,
very
like all
fortunate.
of everybody. Sam, how personal it is to Sam Rosen. Why did that matter so much to him? We talked to him last year. So I do think it's something unique, and maybe it's just unique to baseball. Maybe it's just unique to New York. But it isn't as easy as you think.
Yeah, it was just
what
being
he
himself.
did.
And the thing is, for everybody that thinks it was shtick, if you met John Sterling, he was exactly the same in person as he was on the air. So it wasn't an act. He was just being himself. And I think and that is when people are the most loved, right? Like we talk about Russell Wilson. Why didn't it work in the locker room in Seattle? Because he kind of came across as a phony. People notice that.
Yep.
When you're genuine, whether you rub people the wrong way or not, at least they can appreciate, hey, just being himself. And if you're being yourself, then there's never anything wrong with that. And people are going to appreciate that, the honesty in that.
Yeah.
And that's what you love about John Sterling. 1-800-919-3776. Matt is in Merrick. You're on ESPN New York. What's up, Matt?
Hey, what's up, Don? How are you, man?
Good. How you doing, buddy?
Good. Shout out Alan, Peter. I'm a long-time listener, first-time caller. I just want to touch base about Sterling.
Sure. Thanks, man.
Yeah. I wasn't listening to the whole show. I was listening to some Fish. Shout out Baba Schusen.
There you go.
But I'm just going to give you my my favorite Sterlings was I got the John Bino was one of my favorites.
Okay.
And every time you guys, I'll just be in the car, and you do random Sterling voice with like condiments. Remember when you guys did that?
Oh, yeah.
Nutella,
asparagus.
Yeah, oh my God, there it is. So yeah, if you could do that the rest of the show, that would make my day.
You know what? That is. I was thinking about that today too. It's like
That should be the hellos in ENN.
1 dozen farm fresh eggs.
It's just
no one better.
It sounded so enthusiastic.
Almond nut butter.
It's just again. There's plenty of people that have great voices, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's just John is just so you got to celebrate the uniqueness of individuals, and what the Hall of Fame is kind of celebrating is how everybody's the same or how you're supposed to be.
Call.
You're supposed to be in this box, right? Stay in this lane. You know what? Be yourself, man, and be genuine, and that's what made him so much fun to listen to. And I'm not even a Yankee fan, but I think. Because there are so many games in baseball, even if you grew up a Met fan, you listen to John Sterling. There's the Mets are off, or the Yankees are playing in the World Series, and you pop them on if you were in the car, or you just heard the highlights during updates or whatever. Everybody knew this guy. Ricardo in Cliffside Park, you're on ESPN New York.
The sun will come out. Tanaka.
Yeah,
Bet your bottom dollar that Tanaka.
Wow, that was.
No, what did he say about what was Matsui? What was the Matsui one, that home run call? Wasn't it like? Wasn't it Godzilla?
What it was?
Thriller by Godzilla.
Thriller by Godzilla. Thriller by Godzilla was how he would announce his home runs. And I actually called you guys last week. I was the guy who went 10-0 into the Garden, paid $817 for the Knicks ticket, and then and then we win, which was a great win. And then last year when Michael was on this show, I actually spoke. It was a Knicks talk, and I told him that I DJ and stuff like that. Even Michael was like, "Oh, you should do John Sterling's daughter's wedding," and then out of nowhere, where my brother works at in a hot dog spot in Fort Lee, Hiram's, if I could shout him out.
Sure.
John Sterling would go in there a lot. He would go into Hiram's a lot. I mean, Don, you know Hiram's in Fort Lee. You must have been there.
Mm-hmm.
And my brother is, and my son, who's sitting right next to me right now in the car, is a Red Sox fan, which I'm still trying to find out what the deal is with that. But my brother looks at me and goes, "Do you know who that is?" And I looked up. And I felt like I met a Yankee player, and that's the time that I think he retired. Didn't he retire to kind of come back a little bit?
What happened was he got sick. He overworked himself. He got sick, and then he left, and then he decided that he was going to step away, and he retired, and then he got the itch, and he came back, and he ended up doing that World Series in 2024, and they lost to the Dodgers, and that was the last games he did, and then eventually Dave Sims came in on a full-time basis, so he did give it another shot, which was great when you think about it, because I think he felt better. He didn't want to go out that way, and they got a chance, and the Yankees make it to the World Series, so we got a chance to do of the ultimate World Series, right, Alan? Yankees and the Yankees and the Dodgers, and it didn't go the way the Yankee fans wanted it to, but at least they got a chance to hear Sterling.
And his last game was a World Series game.
Yeah, which is perfect for his career, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what just makes it, just so special. So, I thought about Michael today because you could tell when you listen to his show. Anybody that missed it, I'm sure you can go back and check it out on the podcast. Just how emotional he was, and he was talking about his daughter's wedding. I guess he had a heart attack a couple of months ago, and he was recovering from that, had open heart surgery, and was doing very well. The one thing that he wasn't able to do was walk. And he was going through rehab trying to walk because he wanted to walk his daughter down the aisle. And unfortunately, that's not going to happen, but I believe he'll be there, and he'll be walking with her. You might not be able to see him, but I'm sure he's going to be there in spirit for sure. And Michael outlined, as much as he loved the Yankees and as much as he loved baseball and certainly loved calling games, he loved his family. He loved his kids, for sure. And as somebody who was an older parent myself, as he was, I think he had the triplets. I think, Peter, he was in his 60s. He might be early 60s. It was 98.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So he was 87. So how old would he have been then?
Yeah,
That's
60?
going back, 60, 59, 60 years old. And so that's when you really appreciate, because you know that your time is going to be limited, and he lived a good life. Michael always, I didn't want to bring it up to him because obviously not appropriate for today, where Michael, you take it. We always give those ages. If you live the life he lived, how do you not take those 87 years?
No, 87 is for a life that well lived. Like to have your life, as Michael put it, be a constant cocktail hour and make it to a nice full 87. It never feels like enough at the time, but that's a pretty good run, man.
And not the cocktail hour where you're thinking, I got these finger foods, I don't know how to hold my drink and then hold the plate of food, and how do I eat? And that he's talking about the cocktail hour where you got a drink in your hand, you're schmoozing, you walk in a room, talking to everybody knows you, everybody loves you. That's the way he was. I can't imagine there were too many rooms he walked into where he had to introduce himself. Especially in the last 30, 40 years of his life, right?
Yeah, well, certainly the last 25, 30 years, absolutely.
And from what it sounds like, nor would he care. He wouldn't need to. You know what I mean? Like if people didn't know who he was,
didn't matter.
He seems like that he would have probably enjoyed that even more.
Yeah, so God, bless him, and rest in peace, John Sterling. Knicks have a big game coming up, a game one. It's a big game because we know the history. If the Knicks lose in a best-of-7 at home in game one, they lose the series. And we saw what happened to the Pacers. Same kind of vibe, right? Oh, we're going to the finals. We're going to beat the Pacers. And then you lose a heartbreaker in game one and you never recover. Don't have that happen tonight. Win tonight, that would be what? 4 straight wins.
Yes.
Now you're on a roll. You maintain the home court advantage. And then you go back to business on Wednesday. And then you take care of that business. But give them a reason to believe. This is an odd matchup. You can make the case, Alan, and I want to see if you agree when we come back, that from a matchup standpoint, this might be tougher than the Celtics. Like the Celtics might have been the better team, at least on paper, and the better regular season. From a matchup standpoint, this might be the tougher matchup.
Very interesting take, Don.
Alan's going to talk about that coming up next. Plus your calls at 1-800-919-3776. We got ENN at 6. We're taking up until 7 o'clock, and then it's Knicks basketball here on ESPN New York.
The Knicks.
The Knicks beat the Hawks 140-89 and win this first-round series in 6.
The 76ers.
Well, you got to reset. You got to do it again. I always talk about the word consistency. We got to be consistent in being this version that we showed tonight.
The Eastern Conference semifinals.
We still have a long road to travel. Staying locked in and just knowing what we're capable of is it's really important.
Game 1 coverage begins tonight at 7 on 880 and the ESPN New York app.
Mother's Day is coming, and you gotta show love to the mothers in your life. Between my mom and my wife, who is now a first-time mom, I got a lot of appreciation I need to show. So yeah, Mother's Day matters, and you gotta get it right. That's why I'm sending farm fresh flowers from the Books Company. Right now, get 25% off with my code Canty. Books flowers are cut fresh, so you get bigger, brighter blooms that last way longer. They've got incredible flowers. Some are even growing on the side of a volcano. And the best part, Books makes it easy. Pick the bouquet, the delivery date, and you're done. No last-minute panic. That's why Books has over 55,000 five-star reviews. With 25% off using code CANTY, grab flowers for your mom, your wife, and grandma too. Mother's Day is May 10th, so don't wait. Go to Books.com, use code CANTY for 25% off. That's BOUQS.com, use code CANTY. Books.com, code CANTY.
Chris Garland with you. Glad to be joined right now by Taylor Canfield. He is the U.S. Sail GP team driver, and we are all getting ready for the Mubadala New York Sail Grand Prix coming up at the end of May. Taylor, how we doing?
Yeah, we're excited for the home event in New York, and can't wait to be there and racing in front of all the fans.
Tell us why fans should be excited for the Mubadala New York Sail Grand Prix.
The racing is just so exhilarating coming in and watching it from the shoreline of Governor's Island and in front of the Statue of Liberty, racing in one of the biggest, most amazing cities in the world. I'm getting the goosebumps just talking about it. And these boats are the fastest boats in the world, racing with the best sailors in the world. It's really cool, and it's going to be so electric in New York. And it's our home event this year, so we're pumped.
We are pumped as well, Taylor. We appreciate your time. He is U.S. Sail GP team driver Taylor Canfield. We're looking forward to the Mubadala New York Sail Grand Prix coming at the end of May. Taylor, thanks.
The New York City Department of Correction offers countless career opportunities, from specialized units to leadership roles that support public safety and change lives for the better. It starts with one step: registering for the New York City Correction Officer exam. Earn over $109,000 after just 5.5 years. Benefits on day one, job security, pension at any age after 22 years of service. Go to nyc.gov/joinDOC or search Join DOC. One career, many opportunities. Register today to take the test.
I'm a dog, and my job is to make you happy. So I recommend Optimum Fiber for your home. It's famously fast, way better than flaky 5G home internet, which can slow down the more people or dogs are online. So switch to Optimum Fiber, starting at only $25 a month with a 5-year price lock. Call 888-4-OPTIMUM or visit Optimum.com today. That's 888-4-OPTIMUM. Gus, fetch! I gotta take that. Terms apply. See Optimum.com for details.
And now let's take a look at the traffic with Brandy Scott.
Thanks, guys. A little bit of good news over at the inbound, George. If you're heading over to the Yanks game in the Bronx, stick with the lower deck if you can. They picked up the emergency roadwork on the span. It'll run you about 30 to 40 minutes. Upper level still have some emergency construction in the left lane, at least an hour using 80-95. A bit better from the 4 and 46 approaches. Deegan just slammed both up and down, heading over to the stadium with the volume for the outbound, George. Northbound, especially tough. You're backed up across the Triborough into Queens and up onto the Bruckner. West Side Highway northbound in rough shape, heading over to the outbound, George. Still have a broken down car in the left lane on the ramp to the upper level. Traffic is solid there from the 79th Street Boat Basin. Outbound Lincoln and Holland tunnels 10 to 15 minutes each. This report is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving. For victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you're not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Visit mad.org. I'm Brandy Scott on 880 ESPN New York.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Less than 4 in 10 kids aged 6 through 12 are playing sports regularly. 4 in 10 kids? Let it sink in. Just 4 in 10 kids. ESPN is building a nationwide coalition powered by Disney called Take Back Sports, with the purpose of training more coaches, expanding access, and creating community-driven sports programming that puts kids and fun first. We're working on that story. We hope you'll join us.
Visit takebacksports.org to learn more.
If you're looking for the Mets-Rockies coverage, it's on 1050 right now for the first pitch at 5:40. And that means the Knicks Sixers will be coming on right after us on 880 at 7 o'clock. And we want to thank our partners with the Mets because they've allowed themselves to go to 1050 anytime they're up against the Knicks. So as long as the Knicks are in the playoffs, we hope it's right until they get handed the O'Brien Trophy. The Knicks will get 880, the Mets will get 1050, and we thank them for that. And that's going to be the way it is moving forward.
Bet your A's.
That's right.
Can I just say something real quick? I know we're not going to spend a lot of time here today, but I think I hate Joe Mazzulla. I think I do.
Well, that was not a great Game 7.
Really? You want to step out all the way on the ledge here and say something crazy today?
Because I do think he did a fabulous job this year without Tatum for most of it to get him the 2 seed.
He did,
but he left a lot to be desired on Saturday night.
But he's like he's Thibodeau with the championship. Like he has his plan. He's sticking with his plan. The plan is good enough in general, it seems, to give you a great regular season record and not to win in the playoffs. Except they do have that one chip, so it makes it feel to me, Alan, like he's going to get this pass at least for a while. But to not be able to make any changes, it was so clear on Saturday that was a winnable basketball game when they didn't have Derek White just chucking from 30 feet. Like it really felt like when the game ran through Jaylen Brown, they could score. And the threes weren't going down, and they're going to die with it, as Alan has pointed out on our show over and over again. That is what they're going to do. It is what they did, and they died again.
What if I told you they know no other way? And
no, he knows no other way.
No, as a team.
Well,
that was them before when Brad Stevens was coaching. They were the same. The difference is
it didn't feel like this
defensively. Well, because they didn't have. They always wait and they bet on the numbers and the math. They're like the Yankees in the sense of home runs. They'll live with strikeouts, but they feel like, you hit the home runs, that's going to generate offense, that's how you'll win. And you know that your player will eventually get to his numbers because that's what the numbers tell you, that the averages will kick in and at some point the ball will go out of the ballpark. Well, the Celtics believe that the threes will start to drop. It's a matter of time. And so when they go through slumps, they stick to it, as ugly as it can look, because when it flips, it's epic. Think about this. The 2 games they won it felt like they took over the series. They hit 23 threes and then 20 threes. So when they went through the slump in game, I think it was 4, it's like, oh, that's a bad game, and throw it away. The problem is that it just kept happening. And I go with the fact that this strategy works when you have good shooters. They had guys with no play. This was almost arrogant. Their regular season was because, I said this many times, they have it's like AI bots that play 3 and D. It's almost like computer-generated players, all 6'8", 6'9", long arms run around. But the playoffs, you cannot quantify pressure and stress and clutch when it comes to numbers. So regular season games, guy can catch and shoot a corner 3. Hugo Gonzalez knocking down a corner 3. Luka Garza having a game maybe once in a while where he hits a 3.
Garza shooting threes in the playoffs wasn't scaring Philadelphia. They're gonna let you beat us with Garza popping threes.
Right. So that's why during the regular season, randomly this stuff can work. But in a playoff series, when it's pressurized and it's like, Jaylen Brown's going to drive into the paint and spray it out, great. That means Jaylen Brown's not shooting. I'll take it. And you know what you didn't expect, and I think no one wants to say this, they lost that series because Peyton Pritchard sucked.
That's a big part of it.
No one wants to say it because they love him. He was terrible in the last 3 games. He had an epic 32-point game 4 or game 3. No, 4, the one that Embiid came back from. And, to me, after that game, a 32-point game, it was fantastic. He had Embiid on skates. He was terrible the rest of the way. And they needed him because Tatum obviously fell off, which you'd have to predict that at some point it was going to catch up to Tatum. As much as you hate to see it, it did.
It did.
But Missouri, they're sticking with that stuff. They believe in it. Brad Stevens believes in it. That starting lineup was curious. And they've got to now go back to the drawing board, and they're going to say this. don't worry. Now we'll have Tatum fully healthy for a full season. We can run it back again because our two great players are still very much in their prime.
All right. What about what I threw at you before we went to break, that even though the Celtics were the better team, the Knicks probably match up better against Boston than Philadelphia?
The Knicks were built to beat Boston.
Mm-hmm.
They had the Celtics in mind when they went and got Anunoby, when they went and got Bridges. They had the Celtics in mind when they got Towns. Because with Porzingis, they struggled. With Horford, they had guys like Mitchell Robinson, Isaiah Hartenstein. They couldn't pull you away from the basket. So they needed that. They needed a guy like Towns, and they thought, we've got a team now that matches up with Boston. And then they proved it last year by beating them. They thought they were going to, and they beat them 3 out of 4 this year. They thought they were going to do it again. So I agree. The Sixers bring a different look with their speedy, athletic backcourt that doesn't match up well with the Knicks backcourt that is not speedy and not very athletic.
Mm-hmm.
That's a danger zone right now. But at least in the matchup with Embiid, which the first when they played him 2 years ago, the same, as I said, they had Mitchell Robinson and they had Isaiah Hartenstein, and they didn't really have a healthy Robinson at all in that series. They couldn't really deal with Embiid, but Embiid broke down. So what you're looking for now is the Towns that you saw in the first round was against, as Legs told us, smaller players, that he could physically impose his will. This has to be a skill versus skill with Embiid. That's going to be the interesting matchup. Brunson has his games against the Sixers. They have a hard time guarding him. The Towns factor is another big one, and so is the wing factor when it comes to Anunoby. Can he pick up where he left off? Because the difference could be in the fact that the Knicks' main 5 have more in the tank and probably can do more now than I think the Sixers can. And then the bench is also a huge difference maker. But the Towns-Embiid matchup, that could be the whole story. That could decide whether or not the Knicks win the series or not. Does Embiid last in the series, or does he have a tweak? He's one tweak away from being out. We all know this about him. And if he is playing, can he get Towns in foul trouble? Because that has happened before. And if now you eliminate Towns and you bring in Robinson and they foul Robinson on purpose to put him on the free throw line and he's missing free throws, that throws the whole system off. That's what makes this a scary matchup. Nick Nurse he's a wizard when it comes to the crazy defenses, and Embiid is – Jaylen Brown said it, and it's right. He's the biggest flopper in the league. He's really strong but pretends that he falls down easy. He can draw fouls, and we know Towns can get caught up in that. That's the area that I'm watching in this series.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting that they're going to lose. We'll have our predictions coming up before the end of the show.
No, they shouldn't lose.
From a matchup standpoint, it might be a little bit tougher to take on Philadelphia.
Yeah, well, I explained.
What you wish for,
I explained exactly why. It's the speedy backcourt and Embiid drawing fouls. Those are the two things that make it a more challenging matchup for the Knicks than a Celtics matchup, which would have been simply, you have your guys versus their main guys. You have guys who can match up with everybody, and it's a matter of who shoots the three better, and you'll win the series.
And again, I just worry, we open the show with this, along with the John Sterling passing, is that this is where you get nervous about the Knicks. Not just this iteration of the team, even going back to when, before Jalen got here, is that you get into these series, whether it's Atlanta, Miami, last couple of years against Indiana, where it's like, oh, we're going to the finals. It's all set up for us. And then that's when it kind of gets scary. So hopefully they learn their lesson with the 3-game winning streak in the last series against Atlanta and the way they disposed of them in Game 6, that's the old news, not the new news, and it's going to change. But I do think, and I wanted to get your thoughts, guys, on this one. Everything is really broken the Knicks' way. All the Game 7s in the East, and obviously with Boston being beaten. Detroit surviving can be a thing. Because, remember, you wonder about matching up with them. Now, were they exposed by Orlando, showing that they're not really that good, that they don't have the stomach for a run, or by surviving that series and coming back the way they did, and I think they've got a very good chance of beating Cleveland coming up, that if it ends up being Detroit in the conference final, we're kind of back to where we were at the end of the regular season, right? How poorly they matched up with them in the 3 meetings this year, how tough Detroit was to bounce in the first round last year, having to go 6. So that's the one break I don't think they got. I think you'd feel a little bit better had Orlando won that Game 7.
Yeah, I wouldn't have, because Orlando healthy scared you. They hadn't been healthy all year, but when they were and they had Wagner and Banchero, and Wagner and Banchero were kicking the crap out of the Pistons front court, killing them. When Wagner got hurt, that whole series ended. They couldn't score other than Banchero. They needed Wagner because they had nobody else to score. Those two guys together are formidable and dangerous, but they're never healthy. That's been their issue as a young team. So I still think the Magic win that series if Wagner doesn't get hurt. I think the comeback was allowed because Orlando's offense went, and that Game 6 was embarrassing. They went literally 45 minutes of real time without scoring a bucket. That was the bigger issue. The Magic would have scared you, because I've seen the Magic when they're fully healthy against the Knicks, and I hate the matchup. But Detroit against Cleveland, I would not. I'm telling you, that series, Cleveland wanted that. Cleveland wanted that series because they felt really good about their matchup with them. And that's a series I would not just assume Detroit's going to come out of that thing easy. I think Detroit showed you a lot of warts in that first round, man. Cade is on his own, and he's relying. Tobias Harris had a great Game 7. Yes, he did. But you're not getting that out of him every single game. And they don't have much else around Cade. Cleveland has a lot of size. They've got Max Strus, who can guard, and he shut down Scotty Barnes. He on Cade is going to be very, very interesting in this series, what they allow and what they don't.
God, you talk about the meltdown of Boston in Game 7. How about the meltdown of Orlando in Game 6?
Brutal.
Well, that's for the record books.
Were they up 24? Like they had...
Yeah, what was it, 65-30? Something.
This was Friday night. That was one of the most insane...
In your own building.
I don't know how you recover from that.
Well, you don't, because they just fired their coach.
Yeah, well, he doesn't recover. But I mean, as a fan, how do you even, you're celebrating moving on. It's over.
I know, it's just crazy. Yeah. No, that was... Think about... Somebody was saying this, and I found it funny. When you think about the different meltdowns we saw, and the fact that Atlanta losing at home by 51 seemed less dramatic, right? Like it felt less dramatic than Orlando and Boston doing what they did, blowing 3-1 leads. Boston losing a Game 7 at home. Orlando losing a big lead in Game 6 at home to close the series. Don't you feel like the Atlanta thing almost doesn't feel nearly as dramatic, and yet they lost by 51 at home?
Yeah, but it's just, I guess, because it was over so fast. It lacked drama.
Yeah, no.
It was just
40 to 15. Just wrap it up, B.
It was just a tragedy if you were in Atlanta.
Now, it just shows you the parity, right? You had so many Game 7s. 2 teams blew 3-1 series leads. Teams winning on the road in Game 7s. That never happened. You'd go decades that never happened.
Now, recently, it's become more the norm.
Yeah, it's become the norm. I mean, the parity has certainly hit. Yeah. Got a stat that I'm not sure how to feel about it. We'll throw it out when we come back. Plus your calls on the Knicks at 1-800-919-3776. We're going to be taking you up until 7. At that time, it's going to be Pat O'Keefe leading you up into Game 1, Sixers-Knicks here on ESPN New York.
The Knicks.
The Knicks beat the Hawks 140-89 and win this first-round series in 6.
The 76ers.
We got to reset. We got to do it again. I always talk about the word consistency. We got to be consistent in being this version that we showed tonight.
The Eastern Conference semifinals.
We still have a long road to travel. Staying locked in and just knowing what we're capable of is it's really important.
Game 1 coverage begins tonight at 7 on 880 and the ESPN New York app.
Some stages celebrate. This one tests everything. Every drive, every approach, every putt. Pressure builds, resilience matters, and history waits for the bold. In June, the 2026 U.S. Open Championship returns to the Hamptons at the iconic Shinnecock Hills Golf Club. Experience the world's best golfers as they compete on one of the sport's most storied stages. Daily tickets are available now on SeatGeek. Don't just watch greatness. Experience it live at the 126th U.S. Open.
If you're heading into summer without a medical emergency kit, you're taking a risk most people don't think about until it's too late. Summer colds linger and can turn into sinus infections that last for weeks. Getting sick right now before vacation can derail everything. And when you're traveling, finding a doctor and pharmacy is stressful. That's why I ordered a medical emergency kit. It's like having urgent care and a pharmacy right at home. It includes essential prescriptions like amoxicillin and generic Z-Pak to treat a wide range of common and serious illnesses. So if you wake up sick at home or on the road, you already have what you need. No waiting for your doctor, no hours at urgent care, no pharmacy lines, no copays. Just match your symptoms to the right prescription in your guidebook or call their telemedicine doctor standing by. Start on your meds sooner and feel better faster. Every home needs at least one medical emergency kit. Order yours online in minutes and it's shipped to your door. And save $45 with my promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880. That's promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880.
You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off and to wear a helmet when she rides her bicycle. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the right seat.
Sponsored by the New York State Governor's Traffic Safety Committee.
Hey, it's Alan Hahn. Rings End is your locally owned Benjamin Moore retailer. They're your store for quality with a full line of brilliant and durable Benjamin Moore paints. They're your store for inspiration with thousands of colors and a variety of sheens. And Rings End is your store for expertise with one-on-one advice for contractors and homeowners. Insist on Benjamin Moore paint from Rings End because the gorgeous color you love can't be matched in another brand of paint.
Mornings with DiPietro and Rothenberg.
If the Knicks don't win this series, it would be a massive disappointment.
And this is not a regular 7 seed. Talent-wise, they're better than
No, that's a good team.
Just got to make sure we up the level of our focus, attention to detail, discipline, and physicality.
There is no, well, the Knicks have had a good season, but they lost in 7 to Philadelphia.
No.
That does not exist. You have to win this series. Knicks in 5.
DiPietro and Rothenberg. Morning 6 to 10 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-294-0222. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-294-0222. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-294-0222. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
The Knicks are one step closer to their ultimate goal.
The Knicks beat the Hawks 140-89 and win this first-round series in 6.
Will this be the year the Knicks punch their ticket to the NBA Finals?
Brunson right wing, walks into his 3. That's good. Rebound, Towns on the putback is good. It's a Towns takeover here in the third quarter.
Thanks to all our New York Knicks partners this season, including New York Presbyterian, NYC Department of Corrections, Boost Mobile, and the Parisman Firm on ESPN New York.
If you're looking for the Mets-Rockies, they're on 10:50. Top of the first inning, nobody on, 2 outs, as the Mets will start that 3-game series against the Rockies.
Sheelov!
The Knicks-Sixers immediately following us here on 880 at 7 p.m. Thanks to our partners at the Mets, every Knick game will be heard on 880 for the remainder of their playoff run if there's any scheduling conflict. So they're going to the bottom of the first inning scoreless. Mets have taken 2 out of 3 against the Angels. Good way to start, but since the 12-game losing streak, they're only 5-6, so it's going to take a run a little bit deeper than what they're doing right now to
Okay.
kind of turn it around. Yankees don't lose. Pretty impressive stuff there. But you know what? Anthony has not chimed in yet about John Sterling. It's actually something that we actually can have in common, even though he's so young and we talk about the 90s and he gets upset. He was a part of your childhood, Anthony. So how do you feel about the passing of John Sterling?
Yeah, it's very sad. John was the soundtrack to a lot of great Yankee moments. I was watching the 2009 World Series with my dad on the TV, and as soon as Mariano got the ground out, I ran to my radio to hear what John would say. Not that I didn't respect Joe Buck at the time, but I wanted to hear John's call.
Right.
He was awesome. I didn't get to speak to him as much as you guys did, but in the limited amount of time I did, he was awesome. He was everything everybody says about him is accurate. He's exactly like he is on the radio, which is kind of hard to believe. But there's a lot of people my age and a little older who their only voice for a very long time on the radio was John Sterling. And it was Michael as his partner, and then Susan. John and Susan were the fabric of a lot of great Yankee moments for a lot of these great teams, and he'll certainly be missed.
Yeah. Now, here's the stat that Anthony sent us that I'm not sure how to feel about.
Okay.
This is from TickPick. 56.11% of the purchases for Game 3, Knicks at Sixers, have a zip code from New York and New Jersey. Now, they're making a big deal out of that because, Sixers, nobody wants to go. They don't believe in their team, and the Knicks have so many fans. But last I checked, South Jersey is Jersey. Right? So
that's right.
So how many of these Jersey zip codes are North Jersey? If it's North Jersey, like Hawthorne is 07506, those are Knicks fans. But if they're from, Central Jersey or lower, they could be Sixer fans, right?
Mm-hmm, for sure.
So I'm not sure how to feel about this.
Because I saw there was an effort from the Sixers to really try to get...
Which I know everybody thinks is fugazi, but it's a good idea to do, right? You want to make sure your fans have the best crack to get in, especially when you're taking on a national team like the Knicks in an area where there's a lot of disposable income from the fans, right? I mean, I would that's smart to do. Like everybody knocks, Alan, these franchises to do that. It's a smart thing to do. Doesn't mean they don't have fans. It just means that when the tickets start to get a little pricey, their fan base might not be able to match the Knicks fan base.
It's a strategy.
Well, I think you have to do it, right?
It's interesting.
Certain markets have to do it.
Well, they know they have to after 2024. I mean, that was embarrassing.
Of course it was. But also,
the Knicks won. They won 2 of the 3 games, and they won the clinching game there where they were up big early in that game, and the whole building was chanting, "Let's go Knicks," and MVP for Brunson. So, yeah, you don't want that. And the fact that Embiid didn't waste a second to talk about it and talk about how, how much you need Sixer fans to buy the tickets, and if you can't afford it, I'll buy. You remember the owners, I believe, in that series bought 2,000 tickets because of what they saw in games 3 and 4. They tried to buy as many tickets as they could for that game 6, and that did not work.
Now, we mentioned that I think they're the 4th team in Philadelphia. Doesn't mean they don't care about the team. They do. It's a great sports team in Philadelphia.
You're
sports
right.
City in Philadelphia. But it's also a lack of belief. But now maybe they believe because they just beat Boston. But, they've been trusting this process for a decade, and it exactly has not worked out.
Yeah, this is usually the second round is usually where it ends too for them. But you're right though, because I was talking to actually Kevin Nagandi about it. He's a big Philadelphia sports guy.
Is he cool with me?
You got the job, you ass!
Well, we did the video for you.
You saw the video, right, Tom?
I did not.
You did not see the video? I put it in the group chat.
Oh, let me tell you something.
That means you didn't see it.
That's probably the last place I should have
I want to tell you something. Our group chat has gotten out of hand.
You see, Don?
Not me. I didn't do nothing.
I'm just saying.
What happened?
No, it's
too much.
I mean, there's a lot.
I can't handle it.
And so I kind of give up on it. When I look at my phone, it says 29 missed text messages. When I see it's from us, I shut it out. I'm good.
Well, once it's 29, you're done.
That's a 3 to 7 group chat.
Wow,
honestly,
a lot of things are being said from my coworkers.
I'm going to say,
instead of saying I probably should check in, I'd rather not look at all.
No, because every thought in you and John's head ends up getting text.
In my head?
Yes.
That's insane.
In your head.
Because
in your head.
I'm driving back on Friday night. We went to Dancing with the it was
That's great.
Stars on Ice over at the Rock. That's right.
Sure, beautiful.
Alan Hahn. Alan Hahn. And to the point where Jalen's in the back seat. Why is Alan bothering us? Alan Hahn.
You're now
Alan
attacking
Hahn.
the family, Alan.
Jeez, man.
It was just an observation, and look in your soul.
Wow. No, I'm not.
Is it getting out of hand?
I'm
Peter,
looking
your
at
thoughts?
I'm looking at Friday night, and to be honest, it's not me much at all.
Well, John's it's Disney and texting.
And Anthony, you got to step in here.
If he was that bad.
Now listen, I'll be.
I've given up on the group chat a long time ago.
No. You did not. Not on this night.
Yeah, you were in.
I saw a lot of Pusick. I saw some Pusick.
So guess what?
Very little Pusick.
Hang on. Here we go.
Oh,
I will do the one text in the morning. We'll go back to this again.
No.
And you won't hear from me until 3 o'clock.
Why does he?
It's the only speed he
when
has.
I said observation,
no, it's only speed.
That's almost like in all due respect. Like
Peter's too nice to do it anymore because he knows it bothers me.
Can you send me the video?
But you don't. But you don't care. You're just like, I hate this group text, and we understand.
No, listen.
So Don takes the day off and then wants us to take the day off.
Can I? Let me.
A bunch of game sixes going on.
Please let me weigh in. Please let me weigh in. And keep in mind, I am the same person when I went on vacation said, "Guys, I'm going on paternity. See you in a month."
Right.
So I understand all sides of this. If you are participating, which these days I have been, it doesn't feel like too much. Now, Don, more so than any of us, has his kids in a very specific age range, where when he is out on the weekend, he is knee deep in 8-year-old. Like it is just. I think the last thing he can even think about doing is getting to his phone. I have a baby, so when she's out, like she's out, and I can fully be participating. Anthony doesn't have kids. Alan's kids are a little bit older where he has a window, and he's often at work these days. So I do see how Don looks at it, and he comes back after a couple hours with the 8-year-olds, and it says 35 messages during a basketball game where we're all going back and forth. Like, I think we can reasonably see it from all sides.
And also, I'm coming from a place of I got a 45-minute ride home from the Rock, and I couldn't even listen to the countdown because it just.
Well, you're still getting alerts.
It comes up on
you can turn those off.
You got to turn those off.
I got
not that big. Can we get you on an iPhone so we can help you at least?
For the record, for our audience who is paying attention to this riveting conversation, it was literally about an hour of texts.
That's a lot.
That's all it was.
9:15. That's a lot.
Well, there you go.
It is not.
All right,
it was not constant. It was.
I have to look.
Literally,
I erased them all because I need room on my phone.
To 10:29.
But let me just tell you this quick. All right.
It's really sad.
Then,
I'll exit.
He's out too.
I'm relaxing on the couch.
Go ahead.
Watching the Lightning and the Canadians, which, by the way, that series was unreal. Every game decided by a goal, 3 overtimes, tremendous Game 7.
Yep.
Newhook scores just an amazing goal. I texted group chat. What a goal.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Eggs.
Right.
Eggs. It stinks, doesn't
nothing.
it?
It hurts. And now you know how Anthony feels when you do that to him.
I'm out.
Good.
I saw it.
Listen, I don't even have to tell you. Actions speak louder than words. I didn't have to say I was out. I'm out.
We know, but you've been out.
I do want to see this Nagandi, this video.
You missed the Nagandi video.
But unfortunately,
by the way, that was like last week.
This is the only show other than Michael's. This is the only show other than Michael's that John can't talk to the group in.
Oh,
because
listen.
And I think John feels bad about that.
John is listen, Alan's fine. John's got a problem.
John responds to everything
because
he's
got
also
kids
he's also in other show groups too.
But
so he forgets who he's texting.
There's only 24 hours in the day. There's no way he's on the morning one the way he's on the afternoon one.
He says that they text.
Well, then
they
he
do.
should sleep.
By the way, I'm looking now. Last night, so Sunday, I got 3 Game 7s in the Game 1. Right, so we had 7 straight hours of NBA and NHL, just glorious, just epic. Right, basketball and hockey, playoff stuff, and nothing. Right, 7:47. Anthony sends us the thing about the show. Then
How
Don
dare
says,
I? Never again.
No. Then Don says, "What a goal!" That's it. That's the bulk of the conversation. So Friday night we're all excited. Nothing's a lot Saturday. Sunday, no. We're all shut down.
Peter, the
I didn't think
Devils-
I had the phone near me on set. I was just sitting there watching all this. The games were great.
Peter, Danhausen uncursed the Devils. I thought that would be important information for Don, given how
You did.
successful he's been
You
against
said
the
congrats,
Knicks.
Don.
Not when there's dancing on ice.
Everybody
You can't have it.
but Don responded, and all the text messages I sent on Friday, there were 3.
Oh, that's all you sent on Friday?
That's all. I just looked back.
I was at the Rock for the Stars on Ice, and it's pitch black. If I just look at my phone, it disturbs everybody. The people in that building just absorbed by the figure skating. I thought it was good. The kids loved it. It was a day.
Yeah.
But
there's a bunch of Game 6s going on. You want nothing to do with it.
plus, it was like, "Congrats, Don," was the text. So I'm like, "What happened? Was something good happen? Did I get an award or something?" Then I see the Dukehausen, whatever his name.
Danhausen.
And I didn't know what the hell was going on. I just put the phone. But can you send me the video? I'd like to see what happened.
No,
you know what?
I deleted it.
It's gone now.
Well,
he
you
made
guys should still have it.
He made a video with Nagandi.
What am I keeping this?
Well,
thing
you
for, you know.
Let me see if I can.
All
see
right,
it.
it's coming up in ENN. Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg, ESPN New York.
You got the job, yes.
Hey, with Xfinity, you already enjoy ESPN as part of your TV lineup with live games, daily sports coverage, and expert analysis. And now the ESPN Unlimited plan is available at no additional cost, giving you access to additional ESPN content in the ESPN app, on-demand programming, and originals to explore. Visit Xfinity.com/your subscriptions to activate ESPN Unlimited access. Then start watching in the ESPN app. More from ESPN, all in one place.
Mother's Day is coming, and you gotta show love to the mothers in your life. Between my mom and my wife, who is now a first-time mom, I got a lot of appreciation I need to show. So yeah, Mother's Day matters, and you gotta get it right. That's why I'm sending farm fresh flowers from the Books Company. Right now, get 25% off with my code CANTY. Books flowers are cut fresh, so you get bigger, brighter blooms that last way longer. They've got incredible flowers. Some are even growing on the side of a volcano. And the best part, Books makes it easy. Pick the bouquet, the delivery date, and you're done. No last-minute panic. That's why Books has over 55,000 five-star reviews. With 25% off using code CANTY, grab flowers for your mom, your wife, and grandma too. Mother's Day is May 10th, so don't wait. Go to Books.com, use code CANTY for 25% off. That's BOUQS.com, use code CANTY. Books.com, code CANTY.
Now let's take a look at the traffic with Brandy Scott.
Thanks a million, guys. I hope you have an awesome rest of the night. We've got the Yanks home over in the Bronx. First pitch just a little over an hour away. Definitely going to be doing something to honor John Sterling. If you're heading that way using the inbound George, stick with the lower deck if you can. That'll run you about 20 to 30 minutes. Upper levels still have emergency roadwork on this span. Going to run you at least an hour using 8095. A little bit better from the 4 and 46 approaches. Deegan just bumper to bumper in both directions, heading over to the stadium with the volume for the outbound George. Northbound delays go back across the Triborough into Queens and up onto the Bruckner. Southbound side, some heavy pockets of slowdowns from the Mosholu on down. Outbound Lincoln and Holland tunnels are only about 10 to 15 minutes each. Knicks are home tonight over at MSG, taking on the 76ers. Tip-off still a while away. Game 1 of the semifinals. Right now, no big issues on the east and west sides of town heading into Midtown. I'm Brandy Scott on 880 ESPN New York.
Yankees fans, have the official Yankees official game day program delivered to your door. Subscribe to Yankees Magazine by calling 800-GO-YANKS or visiting yankees.com/publications and get 8 issues a year for just $34.99 plus shipping. The Yankees official 2026 yearbook and media guide are also available for purchase. Get your Yankees Magazine yearbook or media guide today. Call 800-GO-YANKS or log on to yankees.com/publications.
Hi, this is Chevy, managing partner at Precision Solar. If you're looking at solar in New York, New Jersey, or Connecticut, here's what actually matters. Real numbers, honest answers, and a team that handles everything. We manage the entire process from start to finish. Designs, approvals, installation, and even a brand new roof if you need one. We don't sell you more than your home actually needs. Just smart systems designed for long-term savings and predictable energy costs. Visit PrecisionSolar.com to schedule your free home assessment. Precision Solar, built to perform for decades.
Empower. Pete's back on the links with all new golf clubs and hopefully less swearing.
Bang! Sliced it.
He worked with Empower to help him get good at money so he can be a little bad.
Heads up!
Oof. Talent sold separately.
Guy said these were slice-proof.
At least he has money for lessons. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
Hey, it's Rich Eisen for Pella Windows and Doors. Sometimes teams take a timeout to regroup and call the right play. When it comes to your home, Pella Windows and Doors always has the winning game plan. They're not just window and door experts. They're experts at taking care of you and your home. At Pella, they find the products that meet your needs and their experts install them. They do it every day, and that's why your neighbors trust them. Discover why Pella is a trusted choice for homeowners everywhere. Visit Pella.com/Eisen today. That's Pella.com/Eisen.
What's up, my friends? This is Francisco Lindor.
This is Devin Williams. This is Luke Weaver. Bo Bichette here. You're listening to the home of New York Mets baseball.
WHSQ and WCBS-FM HD2, New York. This is an ENN special report. Now reporting.
The very handsome Jewish man, Peter Rosenberg.
We should talk some sports. Do what you want. It's ENN.
Peter Rosenberg!
Hi, how's everyone doing? Alan, are you on the TV tomorrow?
Yes, tomorrow morning.
Oh, my God.
Guess what? Guess what?
What?
See it get up, buddy.
Oh, wow. Look at you.
I wonder if
Nice.
we'll have a seg together.
Oh, no.
I can't see why not.
What, Jacob?
If the group chats where we lost on last segment, you talking about get up, you know.
Oh, me and Alan both doing get up?
I'm happy, my friend.
Yeah, but now you may not be in the segment, Alan, only on account of it's a WWE thing.
Wrestling?
And I'm on with the guest, like me and another guest.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then definitely not.
So it'd probably be Greeny comes and stands with us or something.
Yeah, you'll be on I believe it would be the South Wall.
Yeah, and you'll be sitting down, which, by the way, fantastic. I never want to do a standing segment with Alan Hahn in my life. I only want to do standing segments with Greeny. In fact, I'm telling them that's all I will do.
All right.
I heard there's a Get Up group chat. Don just didn't respond.
Oh, but you know what? It's a great.
Wow.
I drive a Dodge Stratus!
It's a good line. I'll give credit for a good line when it's due.
Yeah.
Welcome to ENN, everyone.
Ray Rowe.
You ever watch YouTube?
It's brought to you by Fanatics Fest NYC. Still looking for the perfect Mother's Day gift? Give Mom something unforgettable the whole family will talk about years to come. How about now through Sunday, May 10th, one adult ticket, get one kid free at fanaticsfest.com. I'd like to start off by saying good evening to myself.
The Mubadala.
Well, you said it right.
No, it's Mubadala.
The Mubadala.
What was I even talking about?
That was the Sale GP.
Well, I got to read at 6:30, and this concerns me because they phonetically spelled it out.
Well,
Mubadala.
I'm going to go with Chris, who's run the ads.
Yeah,
and
because he's been breaking it down for 20 years.
Well, he's been doing it longer than we
He's got
have.
season tickets to the Sale GP race
The
on
Mubadala.
water.
But hold on. But, Don, you're saying that the phonetic breakdown.
Yes, is Mubadala.
So how do I get – so according to the rules of the drop, it's not right. I actually didn't flub.
But this is more fun.
I think it's Iguodala.
It's
I believe that's how you say
Andre
his name.
Mubadala. Andre Mubadala.
But it says Mubadala. So how am I supposed to say it at 6:30?
I don't know.
What is it?
I don't know.
I'd go with the way that Carlin says it because he asked them when he
Mubatai
did it.
dollar sign.
Listen, I got to tell you, that's a great spot that he does, but he doesn't say that with confidence.
Let me
All
say.
right, so how does Chris say it?
Mubadala.
It's Mubadala?
Sure.
That's the way that I'm going to go with that. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong.
Let me say good evening to myself.
Interesting.
And to Don.
All right, listen,
I saw some Pusick.
So guess what?
Very little Pusick.
Hang on.
You know what? That drop is fantastic. There's a lot going on here. Anthony's getting increasingly mad as it's going. And hold on, let me hear it again.
I saw a lot of Pusick. I saw some Pusick.
So guess what?
Very little Pusick.
Hang on.
The drop is intended to be about Don just saying, I saw the Pusick, lots of little Pusick, because that on its own sounds funny.
Right.
But the Anthony fighting back during it,
yeah.
Imagine before Drop Madness was dead, where that could be.
Him wanting to stomp it out as a drop by talking over it only made it better.
It's tremendous. Let's say good evening to Danhausen.
Go Knicks.
That's right.
He does seem like an interesting cat.
No, he is. You'd like him.
Go Knicks!
Where's he from?
He upstate New York. I don't know where he's originally from. I know he lives in upstate New York. I think like as close to the Canadian border as possible. Right up your alley. Basically being Canadian.
Let's have him on.
I'd like to get Dan Housen on. Maybe we can get a curse for someone.
Oh, God.
Now.
Can he curse Embiid? That'd be great.
Oh. You know what?
You know?
Pay for it on Cameo. You can get anything.
Damn it.
What's he charging? Dan Housen, his price on Cameo has to be up.
Actually, take some of your winnings, Peter.
And
What's it worth to you?
And throw it down on Cameo?
Huh.
I'd like to start off by saying good evening to John Sterling.
Semi-sweet chocolate morsels. Cool Whip. 1 dozen farm fresh eggs.
Cool Whip.
Vidalia onion. Extra virgin olive oil. Hand-churned guacamole. Asparagus. Canned cream corn. Beef tongue. Chicken liver. Veal cutlet. Almond nut butter. Pickled ginger. Nutella. Tabasco sauce. French baguettes.
We've never really used that one. I've barely
French baguettes.
French baguettes.
French baguettes.
The what was the origin of all this? I don't remember.
It was. What was
They made him read a grocery list.
It was just for the Yankees?
It was one of those. John Sterling would be great at reading anything, so here he is reading a grocery list.
I thought he was doing like a commercial. And he had to keep
meow at the 50.
That was when he did the Kitten Bowl.
Yes.
And that's him calling Manti Meow.
Manti meow at the 50. Farrell Owens took a hard slam, but it appears he's been cleared to play and is showing no signs of a catcussion. Terry Bradclaw has possession at the 30.
Owning it too.
He'd be enjoying this.
They're doing the Sports Center feature on him as we speak.
Not like we are.
A-Rod had a really nice John Sterling post earlier as well.
Mm-hmm.
We read Jeter's earlier in the program. A-Rod posted a photo of John and wrote, "John Sterling was one of one. I loved him, and I'll always be grateful for how good he was to me throughout my career. No one loved baseball more than John. He was a true ambassador for the game, beloved and revered by everyone who knew him or heard his voice. I'll never forget hearing him and Susan call games and his incredible Hank Aaron stories. The baseball world will miss him deeply, but we will never forget him. My thoughts and prayers are with his family and loved ones."
Very well done.
Of course, we played the Yankee manager earlier. Aaron Boone had a lot of kind words to say. Derek Jeter's statement, "John Sterling is as much a part of the fabric of the New York Yankees organization as any player. It was an honor to have him call every one of my games during my career and an absolute pleasure to get to know him on a personal basis. My thoughts and prayers are with his family and friends. He will be deeply missed."
Can you play the Boone again, talking about his home run call from 2003?
Let's see what I have here. Here we go.
For those who missed it, it's such a great
His
story.
favorite Boone calls, Sterling calls?
Yes.
Here he is, Boone on his favorite Sterling calls.
You know, when we win, I still do this. And my coaches look at me like I'm nuts. I don't even know if they know what I'm doing. But as soon as that final out is made and I get up to shake players' hands, I go, "Ball game over. Yankees win. Duh! Yankees win." And I've shaken all my coaches' hands, so I got goosebumps thinking
I'm being
about
told
that.
it's the other one. You think it's the other clip where he said what Allen wanted?
Well, the one that his 2003 home run that was called by Charlie Steiner. Doesn't he tell that story?
Yeah, I thought that was the second clip, but Jacob's telling me it's not. Either way, let me just repeat it.
One of a kind.
There we go.
An amazing career, an amazing life. The soundtrack for so many New Yorkers and Yankee fans over the years. You know, I know like a lot of Yankee fans, anytime there's a big moment or a big game or something, like, man, I couldn't wait to get home and I want to hear how John called this. And just such a nice man. Like, there's so many times, you know, when we're traveling, the traveling party, we get in somewhere in the middle of the night, we're maybe going through a rough patch during the year or a good patch, and he'll pass on by me in the front row on the bus there and just say something sweet, funny, encouraging. And one of my favorite things is that, to me, embodies John is when the foul ball hit him in the booth and he just, ow. Like the boyish 6-year-old reaction that he just kind of spews out, like, ow, I'm okay. Like, to me, encapsulates him so much. I've heard a lot of great tributes today. I listened to Susan talk about him. But just awesome. A giant in the sport, did it his own way, walked to his own beat as much as you can, and truly one of a kind. And a sad day, but also one where we get to celebrate an iconic figure.
The story goes that Charlie Steiner called his home run against the Red Sox. So John Sterling recorded his version of it for Aaron.
Which is absolutely amazing.
Don't you just love that?
Only he can get away with that. Anybody else that kind of could come across as pretentious, but not for him. It's
well, it's not even. I would say not pretentious. It almost comes across like childlike. Like I didn't get to do it, and I wanted to do it. I hear not like you need it, but like although maybe in his eyes he was like, you certainly wouldn't want just Charlie's call. So I gave you the real one.
Yeah, variety is the spice of life.
But the fact that he
you choose the one that you really like the most.
I see I haven't heard it yet. I see there's some Judge stuff from pregame too, where he was talking about Sterling. Obviously, everybody has a lot to say about the passing. Now, the New York Knicks are playing a game tonight. Don't know if you're aware. It's game 1 of the conference semifinals against the Philadelphia 76ers. Joel Embiid on facing the Knicks again.
New York played them a couple years ago. Good series. Ended up in 6. I had a lot going on at that time, so hopefully everything is good this time. So it's going to be exciting. We got a much PG, much better team than we had at that time. So it's going to be a fun series. A Garden. I just have a message for our fans. Last time we played the Knicks, it felt like this was Madison Square Garden East. So we're going to need the support. Don't sell your tickets. This is bigger than you. We need you guys. The atmosphere that we've had the last couple of games in Philly, especially the last one, pushing it to Game 7. We need all of it. I don't care if it's 70-30, it's Knicks fans. They travel, they're going to buy the tickets, and there's going to be, some people that need the money and that, probably going to sell tickets. But don't do it. We need you guys. We got a pretty good chance. We're going to need that support. We're going to need them to be extremely loud. And if you need money, I got you.
Now he needs to put his money where his mouth is, though.
And also, MSG South would have been a better way to say it instead of MSG East.
Yeah, he's not. The geography didn't.
Yeah,
really.
geography's
Don, please don't focus on the geography. But he deserves better than that.
But I love when he said, "This is bigger than you." Is it? Because if I can make a couple of grand,
and
it's not bigger than
but
me.
he said he's got you the money.
Yeah, so
okay.
you said you got me.
Venmo. How are we doing this? Because cover for me that.
This
stop
stuff
it.
always bothered me. I used to hate.
It's funny.
Rex used to always do that. It's going to be a whiteout for the Jet games, so make sure everybody comes with their white shirt. I don't want anybody not going or selling it. Listen, don't do it. It just sounds bad. I know it bothers you. Nothing bothers a player more than having fans of the other team in their building, and they feel like they're losing home court, home ice, home field, whatever. But when you call it out like that, man, it just looks bad. Now you made it a thing. Now everybody knows it's a thing. Their best player said it's a thing. It's a shame. But
am I odd, though, that tell me if you think it's weird that when he's playing against my team, I absolutely hate Embiid. Like Saturday, Don, you wouldn't have seen it. It was in the group chat, but I was letting everybody know how angered I was by Embiid. Flopping, yelling, screaming, just all of his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, when I hear him talk, there's an affect to his voice that I find him very charming. I don't know why. It's like Alan. He sounds so generic with the way that he speaks, but there's I don't know. There's a boyishness to Joel Embiid's way that I like. But on the court, when you're playing against him, so gear up, everybody. Not like you haven't been here before, but it's been a couple years. You want a villain?
Everybody wants a villain. C.J. McCollum said it ain't me, and he was right.
No, this is it.
Joel is this is your.
He's good.
This is your maxi. This is every year you're going to get the villain. He's your villain, and he loves it. He's going to embrace it, and he's going to drive you crazy because of what he does. And it's what Jaylen Brown said. He's 300 pounds, and he falls if you breathe on him to draw a foul. He does flop. He does flail, but he's very crafty and creative. And by the way, he doesn't miss when he takes those like little soft jumpers. He has an incredible shooting touch. He's a very smart player, but he will drag himself around. He'll pretend to be hurt. How about this? Game 7, guys were falling into his knee a couple of times. One time he grabbed it and rolled around, and he was limping on the court and stuff. He said after the game, "No, I was just faking it. I'm fine."
But that is what it feels like.
That's what he does. You never know what to believe, but he's a guy that, though, he's got a ton of talent, and you can't ignore it. But it's maddening to watch from the other side.
You have the Jaylen Brown on his flopping?
Yeah, Jaylen Brown talked about Embiid's flopping.
Where is it? Can you play that?
He was on Twitch stream talking about Embiid flopping.
Oh, I thought you meant you had.
This is my personal opinion on basketball. Some of y'all might disagree, but argue with your grandma. Flopping has ruined our game. Joel Embiid is a great player, one of the best bigs in basketball history. Flops. He know it. This ain't breaking news. It is what it is. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, he literally on Saturday night, Don, there was a possession where Embiid looked like he got banged up, and he's sitting there like, rolling around, holding. Literally the next possession, comes down the court, catches the rock, hits a three, and tells the crowd to be quiet. Like, he's just, it's part of his charm.
Well, that's right. Troel Embiid is his Twitter handle.
That's right.
He loves to troll.
Yeah. It works sometimes when he's playing.
Josh Hart was asked about Philly trying to block New York fans from buying tickets in Philadelphia.
Good thing about New York is, man, they're persistent. They don't care, bro. They're going to do it, man. And, a lot of people, for a lot of people, money, everything revolves around money. So, if they can get a good price for those tickets, they're going to sell them. And New Yorkers, like I said, man, they're passionate about the Knicks, and, they're going to come out and show love.
Now, they're passionate, but there's just the sheer number. You know how much bigger New York is, the tri-state area, than Philadelphia? Like, it's just enormous. So, yeah, they're passionate, but there's also a lot of them.
Man, Philly fans are so annoying though too. Like, Gilly was on, who's a podcaster and huge Philadelphia sort of representative everywhere. He was screaming on social media on Saturday, crowing obviously about the win. Are you allowed to scream and talk trash when it's been this long since you've won? Like, don't you have to? Like, can you really talk trash to the Celtics if you're the Sixers? I know that you knocked them out in this round, and you feel good about it. They were up 3-1, you lost the series. But it is tough when when's the Sixers last string?
83.
Well, what are you supposed to do?
Be happy, celebrate.
They always beat you. They always take you out, right?
I mean, I wouldn't say
so.
Always,
when you find,
oh, you mean the Celtics? Pretty often, yes.
Yeah. So if you're the Sixers, like last year when the Knicks took out the Celtics, they were the hunted, man. Like they won the recent championship in this area. Like they have been the dominant team as always. To take them out is that means they were down 3-1, man. Like, come on. Like
no. I get being thrilled.
That's an epic comeback for think about this too. This team, that group of four that they thought was, Edgecombe, they're getting him and adding him to Paul George, who missed a ton of time because he did PEDs. Embiid been hurt all year for various reasons. Then this appendectomy happens, which just so much going on for this season. To have it all come back together and the pieces form and assemble at the right time, and then to take down a Celtic team that looked like the team to beat in the East, that's a big moment.
The Sixers last beat the Celtics in the playoffs in the 1982 Eastern Conference Finals.
Wow.
So, yeah,
Dr. J.
You can't crow then.
It's pretty big.
Well, you got it. You definitely.
Celtics won 4-3 in 23. They won 4-0 in 20, 4-1 in 18.
Yeah. Well, I remember the one in 7. Well, was only a couple of years ago, right? The one that with Harden and Embiid, and they both just completely. Right, the game 6 and 7 they lost.
Yeah, that's when he put up like 2 40-point games and then collapsed the rest of the games.
Yeah, like that was. So yeah, as a Sixers fan, that felt like slaying the dragon. That's a moment. Yeah. And this is now going to be the same. The Sixer perspective in this whole thing is taking out the Knicks because they took you out a couple of years ago, and a Knick team that has become a franchise. Knick franchise has come better than yours. So now you want to believe that, okay, take them out. Now we've got – think about that. put those pelts on the wall in this season, be pretty impressive.
The question is, am I going to man up? Minus 7.5.
So it's hefty.
Like I said, you don't have to take the Knicks. You don't have to take the points.
Well, no. You can also ride with the Knicks on the money line. They're minus 290, though, right? So,
what do you get out of that?
So I'll tell you. So, for example, if I were to throw my what's now become traditional 500 on the money line for the Knicks.
Just rolling in it.
It pays out 172. That's a lot of risk for a low reward.
Yeah, I lay it.
Yeah, I don't like it. It's not worth your time. Is there something else you could play instead?
Well, no. To me, it's either
What?
I just played it.
Oh no! Did you hit the button?
Yes.
You can cash out. Don't worry.
But now do you have to?
This is where it
No,
all
now it means it was meant. Well, it's on. Don. Is this where it all comes unglued?
Oh no.
Or is this where it shows how meant to be it is?
How meant to be.
And the Knicks win, but under the 7.5, and we go, all right, now everything just, no matter what happens,
So
it's
what did
magic.
you play?
I played Knicks on the money line, which is the bet I prefer, but it's just
just win.
They got to win, but I bet $500 to get $172.
You went against the grain. Most people are taking the Sixers tonight.
God, why'd you tell me that? You didn't tell me that before.
Yes, all the money, according to the FanDuel, is on the Sixers.
Yeah.
So you got fat hands is what you got.
Wow.
Gotta be careful with those buttons.
I think Lady Luck just nudged your finger to press that button.
Yeah.
Is that what you're thinking?
That's what I think.
Don, but that's interesting to me that the public or the smart money is on the Sixers.
Which is odd considering they played Saturday.
Right.
Your sportsbook of choice says it's the public. 83% of money line bets, 65% of the money line handle, 57% of the spread bets, 54% of the spread handle.
Oh, yeah.
The spread I get.
No, I get. And not only that, I get the money line too.
But
because people are yo-yos, and everyone wants to bet the dog. So you go, wow.
They want to get something out of it.
Yeah, they want to get something out of it. And you think, oh, well, Philly's pretty good. They're a live dog. Why can't they win outright?
And history shows you this is the dangerous spot for the Knicks.
Right, when they're the favorite.
Are they going to win 4 in a row?
That's the other odd, right? Is the winning streak factor.
But, the Sixers are going to have
well,
to
the Sixers
win 4
would have
in a
to
row
win
as well.
4 in a row, yeah.
Well, that was an aggressive.
I never seen that before. Where you accidentally hit something?
Wow. By the way, I got to tell you, love FanDuel. Big fan of the app. Use it all the time.
Sure.
I grazed. My finger might have hovered near it.
Shouldn't.
You could still cash it out, Peter.
What do you mean, right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Go to your
You get all
active
your money
bets.
back.
You could get
The
it all
same
back
money you
right
put
now.
back, you get right back.
I think you ride this, man. Some
No,
something
you
intervenes.
think it's magic.
Something intervenes.
No, I'm doing.
Right?
I'm rolling my guys right now.
Oh!
I'm with my dogs.
My God.
3 straight.
This guy's wearing orange today. Look at him.
He is wearing orange.
I am wearing orange today. That's also a coincidence. All right, the Orlando Magic have fired their head coach, Jamal Mosley, so long.
Tough.
47 years old, spent the last 5 years with the Magic.
Good guy.
Led the
coach.
team out of a rebuild, got him into the playoffs the past 3 seasons.
Not
But
his fault everybody gets hurt.
well, yeah, and blowing the 3-1 series lead, not going to do it. So that is a wrap. The Dallas Mavericks have agreed to hire Masai Ujiri as the team president and alternate governor, because we all know what that means.
It means he gets to sit in on the owners' meetings.
Oh, got it.
And vote.
On
That's
their
all it
face.
is. Yeah.
I will tell you, that is an interesting team to be a part of.
Dallas Mavericks?
Yes. Very interesting team. Interesting owner, interesting players. Now you have Masai Ujiri there. There's a lot go. That's give me a Hard Knocks.
He's got a ring, right?
on the he sure
Yeah, he
does
does.
in Toronto.
Yeah.
And he had to beat the mush.
He
Drake.
Yeah,
Two
Drake.
championships.
Yeah, he did the Kawhi gamble, rented him for a couple of months and won a championship.
So meanwhile, Orlando fires their head coach because they blow the lead to Detroit.
Yep.
Detroit has extended JB Bickerstaff.
Interesting timing on that one.
Yeah, contract extension. It's their first series victory since 2008.
That's amazing.
He has a record so far of 104-60 during the regular season.
Now, I love JB, but if you guys are running that franchise and you were down 3-1 and you're the number one seed, won 60 games, are you extending now or, like, let's just see how the rest of this goes? Because if they end up losing in the second round to the Cavs, you can't call the season a success, can you?
Not if you were a 1 seed.
Well, not if you're a 1 seed.
A 60-win 1 seed.
60-win 1 seed, but I don't know. You haven't won a playoff series since 2008. You now have a winning team. You now won a playoff series. I don't know. It's going the right direction.
Yeah, but
I hear you.
Again, I'm a big fan of JB, but this is not a personal thing. It's more of a just interesting timing, that's all.
A friend of New York, Tyrod Taylor's found himself a new gig. He will be replacing Malik Willis, and will back up Jordan Love.
That's not a bad gig.
In Green Bay. That's a good gig. That's a gig called you have a chance to play meaningful football. If that's what you're looking to do.
Yeah. And that's been a while for him.
And being on a real team. I guess to be on a real team.
That was such good delivery, Don.
You know what I wonder? I wonder what the level of curiosity there is. Like when you're a veteran and you're like a Tyrod Taylor, we're like, there's a job for you, but you don't know where it's going to be. I wonder what level of like excitement and curiosity there is when it's like a team like Green Bay. Like a team like that's unique in terms of like where you play, what the fan base is like. Yeah.
Wow.
You know you're going to be good. You know you're going to be popular the second you get there. Like when you're in town in Green Bay, everyone's treated like a god if you're on the team.
Yeah. Everyone knows you.
It's got to be so you're coming from New York. Do you know how, like, in terms of relevance, being the backup quarterback on a bad New York football team, you are celebrity 9,212 in the city.
Or unless you're Jameis Winston and that's what he had to do.
But if you're on the Packers and you're one of 53, you know what that means? You're one of the top 53 most important people in Green Bay.
Absolutely.
That is not how it works in New York.
No.
That's correct.
That'll do it for ENN, folks. All brought to you by Fanatics Fest NYC. It's back at the Javits, July 16th to 19th. All the stars you want to meet. In fact, including my good friend Danhausen.
Go Knicks!
John Cena, Aaron Judge, and so many more. Tickets at fanaticsfest.com. And by the way, guys, Mets-Rockies going on right now on 1050. Coverage of Knicks Sixers immediately following us on 880 at 7 o'clock.
That's right, and that's the way it's going to be throughout the Knicks run. Last call crew, 1-800-919-3776. We got the Knicks. We got John Sterling. We got the baseball. Don Hahn and Rosenberg, ESPN New York.
The Knicks.
The Knicks beat the Hawks 140-89 and win this first-round series in 6.
The 76ers.
We got to reset. You got to do it again. I always talk about the word consistency. We got to be consistent in being this version that we showed tonight.
The Eastern Conference semifinals.
We still have a long road to travel. Staying locked in and just knowing what we're capable of is it's really important.
Game 1 coverage begins tonight at 7 on 880 and the ESPN New York app.
FanDuel is giving you better payouts on same-game parlays all NBA playoffs long. With more ways to build and more value every time you play, you can stack your picks your way for every game, every matchup, and every moment. From spreads to player points to threes and more, build it all into one same-game parlay and go for bigger payouts. So if you're betting same-game parlays this NBA postseason, bet them on FanDuel. More options, better payouts, all NBA playoffs long. FanDuel is giving you better payouts on same-game parlays all NBA playoffs long. With more ways to build and more value every time you play, you can stack your picks your way for every game, every matchup, and every moment. From spreads to player points to threes and more, build it all into one same-game parlay and go for bigger payouts. So if you're betting same-game parlays this NBA postseason, bet them on FanDuel. More options, better payouts, all NBA playoffs long. Head to FanDuel.com/local to get started. FanDuel, an official partner of the NBA. Play your game, 21 plus, and physically present in New York. For help with a gambling problem, call 877-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
If you're heading into summer without a medical emergency kit, you're taking a risk most people don't think about until it's too late. Summer colds linger and can turn into sinus infections that last for weeks. Getting sick right now before vacation can derail everything. And when you're traveling, finding a doctor and pharmacy is stressful. That's why I ordered a medical emergency kit. It's like having urgent care and a pharmacy right at home. It includes essential prescriptions like amoxicillin and generic Z-Pak to treat a wide range of common and serious illnesses. So if you wake up sick at home or on the the road, you already have what you need. No waiting for your doctor, no hours at urgent care, no pharmacy lines, no copays. Just match your symptoms to the right prescription in your guidebook or call their telemedicine doctor standing by. Start on your meds sooner and feel better faster. Every home needs at least one medical emergency kit. Order yours online in minutes and it's shipped to your door. And save $45 with my promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880. That's promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880.
No matter your age or career stage, SUNY Canton delivers education at the speed of life. With flexible, fully online degree programs, you can earn your credential on your schedule. Ready to get started? Apply now for a summer start in high-demand programs like applied psychology, cybersecurity, healthcare management, and more. Our admissions team is ready to help you review transfer credits, explore degree options, choose courses, and navigate every step of enrollment. Email admissions@canton.edu today or visit canton.edu to learn more.
If you've been injured on a construction site, then you need a lawyer who knows New York's unique labor laws. At the Parisman Firm, they have decades of experience handling construction accident cases and a proven track record of delivering huge results. Their team has already recovered nearly $1 billion for hardworking New Yorkers. From scaffold accidents to slip and falls and equipment failures, they've got your back. Call the Parisman Firm now at 718-WORKERS. That's right, 718-WORKERS, because your case is their cause. Get the justice you deserve today.
Mother's Day is coming, and you gotta show love to the mothers in your life. You know you gotta take care of mom. Plus, my wife just became a first-time mom. So yeah, Mother's Day matters, and you gotta get it right. That's why I'm sending flowers from the Books Company. Right now, get 25% off with code CANTY. Books flowers are cut fresh, so you get bigger, brighter blooms that last way longer. And it's easy. Pick the bouquet, the delivery date, and you're done. Mother's Day is May 10th, so don't wait. Go to Books.com, use code CANTY to get 25% off. That's BOUQS.com.
Harry Douglas here. Game day brings the excitement. Your stay should feel just as memorable. With Marriott Bonvoy, official hotel partner of the NCAA and U.S. Soccer, you're connected to a portfolio of brands designed for how you travel. Some offer complimentary breakfast, others give you room to spread out, space to stay productive, or extended stay comforts. So whether you're a traveling fan or part of the team, Marriott Bonvoy celebrates the moments that live on before and after the game. Marriott Bonvoy, where game day checks in.
All right, here we go. Sail GP is the ultimate race on water, where international teams go head-to-head in F-50 catamarans flying over 60 miles per hour. Think you know who's going to win in Bermuda? Make your pick on the ESPN New York app. Get it right, and you'll be entered to win an exclusive meet and greet with Sail GP athletes at their team base at the Mumbai, New York Sail Grand Prix. Make the pick now and get closer to the action with Sail GP. Sail GP, high speed, high stakes, the ultimate race on water, landing in New York May 30th and 31st.
Wow, big news in
Mumbai.
The Mubadala. I don't know. I don't know whether Ebro saw this yet, but big news, and I'm guessing in the Ebro household. I'm seeing this celebration by Woody Johnson and the Jets that they have successfully lobbied. And girls flag football will now be a varsity sport in New Jersey high schools.
That's cool.
Yeah, Ebro's daughter is like a serious. Issa is like a serious flag football player. Goes to tournaments. Was on ESPN a few months ago in one of these tournaments. But like now it'll be a varsity sport for girls. It's pretty cool.
It's very cool.
Like that. What a fun thing that was not possible very recently.
This is such a growth in the participation, and that obviously is a big part of it, right? Once you get that, then you start developing it over the years. But, yeah, it's really cool.
More opportunity. And smart of the NFL. And smart because you think, how could they get any bigger? Well, I'm sure that as many women are NFL fans, they know there's a place for more growth over the years and years.
Right.
And if you played serious varsity football as a girl, then you grow. Well, your likelihood of being a committed fan is that much higher.
Well, it's also their only outlet to play the sport, right? It's very, very difficult, almost impossible, you would think, for a woman to play football.
With boys.
They
do. It happens, but not often.
Very, very rare. But still, to have a tackle football league, probably a lot more difficult than it is to have what you have in hockey, basketball, and softball, where they're playing in leagues. Alan knows this. Going to college, getting scholarships.
Yeah.
And now football can have that. And maybe you do get to a point where from at least a skill position standpoint, you might be able to see the transformation. So it's got to start somewhere. So
cool moment.
Cool by Woody
Very
Johnson and the Jets to get that going. That is not nothing. 1-800-919-3776. We're taking your calls up until 7 o'clock, and then Pat O'Keefe takes over for Knicks-Sixers Game 1. So we got some lines open at 1-800-919-3776. Jonathan in L.A., you're on Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Guys, first things first, rest in peace to the legend John Sterling. I mean, I don't really listen a lot to the radio games, but when I did, when I'm working, tuned it in, and it's great calls. And he surely is missed. His voice is surely missed. And one thing with Michael Kay, I know Michael tells himself, oh, I don't belong in the Hall of Fame. Oh, really? Like this. He means a lot to a lot of us Yankee fans. And today I heard him earlier when he was crying. He was saying this this story with John Sterling. And it's sad, man. And I want to tell Michael Kay, I'm pretty sure he's not listening, but I'm going to call him tomorrow that he means a lot to a lot of us Yankee fans. It sucks that people have to pass away. Then we have to talk about how great is that person. And yeah, man, other than that, fellas, good luck to the Knicks. Alan, I have a question for you really quick. Just a yes or no question. Do you think the Lakers have a chance with OKC? And for Peter, really quick, is Benavidez the face of boxing right now? Great show, and thank you, fellas, and rest in peace, John Sterling. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
All right, no until Luka is available, and Luka is still a bit of a ways away.
Yeah, week to week still, right?
Yeah, so I got to give it a no just because it's the Thunder. They're just so good. But LeBron getting them this far is still pretty remarkable.
This is my microphone has gone very, very limp right now.
Oh, no.
I don't think, listen, I have to say, I don't think there really is a mainstream face of boxing right now. Terrence Crawford's is the best boxer in the world and is no longer active. I guess Alexander Usyk's incredible, but
Who
is
did
he
he
the face?
say? Is that who he
I
said?
thought he just asked. Did he say one, or did he just ask?
I thought he said a name, but I could be wrong.
He probably said Benavidez, who had a big win over the weekend.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if Benavidez is the face of boxing, but he's a hell of a fighter.
Danny on Long Island, you're on ESPN New York. What's up, buddy?
Good morning, boys. Sad day today when John passed. It's funny how your brain doesn't remember certain things. My brother, three brothers, we got in a chat, and we all met John Sterling in 1975. He was calling New York Net games in the Coliseum doing a sports radio show, so apparently Danny from Long Island was calling him up. And we won a Meet Dr. Julius Erving. So my brother has the black and white picture of him and Dr. J and John Sterling from 1975. My first memories of sports was we didn't have Cablevision back then. My father was not going to blow out for the $4 so we could watch the Islander games, whatever the hell it was back in 1977. So I had my AM/FM radio like I was, trying to pick up Radio Berlin, and I was listening to John Sterling call Islander games on the radio with true John Sterling outlandish. When the Islanders would score, he would yell out "Islander goal" 3 or 4 times in a row, as if he was trying to wake the dead. And he was a very popular announcer. And the next thing you know, he was just gone. And you didn't really hear about him until he came back to do the Yankees. But as a person who spent a lot of time in my life driving around in cars at 3 o'clock in the morning or listening to games on the radio, I fell in love with listening to baseball on the radio because I didn't grow up listening to games on the radio. Nobody does anymore. But if you're outside and driving a car, a cab, a police car, anything, sitting in an office, to this day, I would rather listen to the game on the radio than to stare at some 3-inch cell phone or tablet because you really can't concentrate. But the guy telling the picture, you can hear the words out of his mouth. And Sterling was the best because he didn't treat it like church. He would start talking about some meal he had the night before. Probably blasphemy to some people that he was a fun guy. Sounded like he would be a great guy to hang around. And sadly, those people are leaving the business. And now it's more like, you could train a robot to do a game. But Sterling had personality, and that's why he was loved by one. No, I'm not a Yankee fan, but I love listening to the games with Sterling, and that's a sad day. And best wishes to his family and his children, because it doesn't really matter what any of us do for a living. At the end of the day, to be known, and I read say he was a great father and a devoted father, is all that really I ever care about. I could care less what you're doing for a living. If you don't have a good life with your family, then you're not a good person. But apparently he was a great person.
And he loved his kids, proud of his kids. His daughter's getting married later on this summer. John Sterling started to do the Islanders on WMCA with Bob Lawrence in the 75-76 season. He did 3 years, and he was done by the end of the 78 season. And then Bob Lawrence took over in 78-79. And then the guy that I remember most was Barry Landers. He took over in 80-81, and he did it all the way until the end of the 96-97 season when Jim Cerny took over.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, he did it 3 years back in the infancy when the team was looking to try to get over the hump. And then he was his last year was in 77-78.
There is a major controversy.
Yes.
Brewing.
Mm-hmm.
Related to a friend of the show. The Knicks.
Okay.
And what could potentially be a horrible omen for tonight's game.
All right. We're going to find out what that is next. Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg till 7 o'clock on ESPN New York.
The Knicks.
The Knicks beat the Hawks 140-89 and win this first-round series in 6.
The 76ers.
Well, you got to reset. You got to do it again. I always talk about the word consistency. You know, we got to be consistent in being this version that we showed tonight.
The Eastern Conference semifinals.
We still have a long road to travel. Staying locked in and just knowing what we're capable of is it's really important.
Game 1 coverage begins tonight at 7 on 880 and the ESPN New York app.
Some stages celebrate. This one tests everything. Every drive, every approach, every putt. Pressure builds, resilience matters, and history waits for the bold. In June, the 2026 U.S. Open Championship returns to the Hamptons at the iconic Shinnecock Hills Golf Club. Experience the world's best golfers as they compete on one of the sport's most storied stages. Daily tickets are available now on SeatGeek. Don't just watch greatness. Experience it live at the 126th U.S. Open.
Mother's Day is coming, and you gotta show love to the mothers in your life. Between my mom and my wife, who is now a first-time mom, I got a lot of appreciation I need to show. So yeah, Mother's Day matters, and you gotta get it right. That's why I'm sending farm fresh flowers from the Books Company. Right now, get 25% off with my code Canty. Books flowers are cut fresh, so you get bigger, brighter blooms that last way longer. They've got incredible flowers. Some are even grown on the side of a volcano. And the best part, Books makes it easy. Pick the bouquet, the delivery date, and you're done. No last-minute panic. That's why Books has over 55,000 five-star reviews. With 25% off using code Canty, grab flowers for your mom, your wife, and grandma too. Mother's Day is May 10th, so don't wait. Go to Books.com, use code Canty for 25% off. That's BOUQS.com, use code Canty. Books.com, code Canty.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hardworking partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
New York Knicks fans, here's a total slam dunk. For a limited time, new Verizon Mobile and home customers can get Fios and Alina Mobile for just $69.99 a month with AutoPay. Get Fios 300 megabits per second for $20 a month and unlimited welcome for $50 a month plus taxes and fees when you bring your own phone. Visit a Verizon store today to learn more. For new Fios Internet and mobile customers, discounts applied over 36 months. Mobile and home discount enrollment required. Additional terms apply. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds.
Evan Cohen here. In life, as in sports, the pros make it look easy. That's why pro golfers like Jason Day, Ben Griffin, and Patton Kazire trust the pros in lawn care. True Green. They have the experience and expertise to give you a lawn worthy of the PGA Tour. And since True Green does the work for you, you get more free time, or more tee times. So stop stressing over your lawn and start loving it. Sign up now at TrueGreen.com because nobody makes it easier to get a golf course quality lawn than True Green, the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour.
Chris Canty here. PayPal is now the official peer-to-peer payment sponsor of the NFL, which means all the money moments that your fandom creates, whether splitting tailgate costs or chipping in on tickets and game day food between friends, are covered. Wherever the game is played or watched, PayPal moves with fans. You can send money through text, email, or directly to your friends with eligible accounts on Venmo. Just download the PayPal app and share all the moments that matter. Account with PayPal is required, not available in all regions where PayPal operates.
ESPN New York and Floor & Decor are giving you the chance to meet me, Michael Kay. one lucky fan and a guest will win a studio visit with an exclusive meet and greet. This is your all-access pass and an experience you will not forget. To enter, visit ESPNNewYork.com or the ESPN New York app and submit your entry today. It is Michael K's Double Play, presented by Floor & Decor. High-quality materials, unbeatable prices, and everything you need to get your project done right.
Mets-Rockies currently airing on 10:50. They've taken a 1-0 lead on the Rockies, top of the sixth. Carson Benj with a solo home run. And the Knicks-Sixers immediately following us on 8:80 at 7 p.m. Thanks to our partners at the Mets, every Knicks game will be aired on 8:80 for the remainder of their playoff run if there are any scheduling conflicts. Now, Peter had a hell of a tease going to break.
Well, there's something going on, folks, and it's not great.
Let's hear it.
Ben Stiller appears to have chosen the Met Gala over the game tonight.
Damn! I'm telling you, this is the issue I have. You know why he's doing that? Oh, we're beating the Sixers. It's only game one. No. If you take a look at the prices.
It has to be. They were invited by someone that was either an important person for them to say, we need to go, or his wife, Christine Taylor, really wanted to go, and he agreed to it a long time ago, and the seats are worth like $50,000.
So you're telling me that if for some reason, the way the schedule went, that tonight would be Game 7 against the Hawks, he would not be there?
I would imagine if he's going, it's because he has to go.
Or is it, hey, it's Game 1, it's a series we're going to win anyway,
but
not
this
a big
was
deal. I get it, but
it had to be planned, though. It had to have been planned. He had to be hope. Maybe he always planned on when he looked at the calendar and they're like, we're going to go. He's looking. He's like, all right, we should be done with the first round. This should be early second round. It'll be okay. He'll definitely be watching on his phone. I think all of us know that.
I get it, but I think you're at a certain level where you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. I mean, he doesn't have to.
Well, he does direct movies.
I know,
where he works for people. Like, he doesn't own a studio.
I understand, but
he's still a working man. He has a lot of money in his pocket.
So what are you angling at then? If you're not ripping him, then what are you saying? Is it bad karma, bad juju?
Well, other people don't like this. I'm saying I'm close enough to the entertainment industry to go, no, I get it. He's probably got people. He's got a, whatever. But I'm looking around the internet, Don. He's wearing an orange tie. For the record, the funniest thing about it, by the way, his wife is dressed in like a beautiful gown that looks like appropriate for something like that gala. He's pulling a full Michael K. If Michael were forced to go to the Met Gala. Look what he's. Tell me he couldn't have just worn that to someone's bar mitzvah.
Right, he's not playing.
No, he literally it's just a straight suit with an orange tie. Nothing extra going on at all.
Listen,
probably a Tom Ford. It's probably a $10,000 Tom Ford suit, but he's going straight laced.
Right. But listen, I get it. Life gets in the way sometimes, but I do feel like, and this is what kind of scares me about the Knicks, that we've seen this before. We saw it last year in the conference final. Oh, it's the Pacers. We're going to beat the Pacers. We're going to the finals. The year before, the Pacers. We'll beat the Pacers. We're going to the conference final. Oh, come on. We could beat the Hawks. We could beat the Heat. It just seems like when you give them these opportunities, they just scare you. That's why I think it's going to be the Knicks in 6. I think that they will have a couple of moments where they'll make you scared. But I hear a lot of people just like, oh, no, this is – I'm listening to the show this morning. Oh, Knicks in 4. They're going to sweep the Z. I've heard this line before. Remember Michael guaranteeing when they're playing – oh, they're beating. They're going to the conference final. Lost. Hawks lost. Twice against the Pacers. It just seems like with this team that when everything is pointing in their direction, they make it scary. And that's why I think tonight is big. They've never won a home series when they lose game 1 in their building. Don't mess around. Don't have what happened last year against the Pacers where you give them a miracle win and they feed off of that and advance. Just do what you've done the last 3 games and everything should be fine. But Peter, I just get scared when all the fans, nothing should be a given when you haven't won a championship since 1973, okay? But Jay in Atlanta doesn't see it. You're on ESPN New York. What's up, man?
Man, I couldn't add nothing to that, man. Let's not play without food. We got to beat these guys and make a statement. But I do feel confident playing in their home arena. We got 3 guys who are, they could draw from some good memories and successes in that building, and we travel. Just like I told you about how we did Atlanta down here. So,
yeah,
I like us in 6. I think we could close them out in 5. I respect the team. Joel Embiid is a beast. But, man, we shouldn't be playing with our food, man. Let's get this. Let's make a statement. Double-digit win today. That's what we're going to do.
Well, look how much better you were.
On and on.
Think about this, Jay. Think about how much better you were than Atlanta. You proved that over the last 3 games, especially in Game 6. And yet you still lost 2 games in the series because that's what happens. If the Knicks play at their best, Sixers can't touch them. But if you mess around, as you said, play with their food and lose a game or 2, all of a sudden you find yourself in trouble. And you know what? The Sixers are better than Atlanta, in my opinion. So if you were to mess around and fall behind 2-1 like you did against Atlanta, then maybe you're not as fortunate to get out of the series. Take care of business. Peter, Elmsford, you're on ESPN New York. Peter. All right, no Peter. Richard in Manhattan, you're on ESPN New York. What's up, Richard?
Fellas, the Knicks fans sell their tickets too. Home ticket, the season ticket guys, but they sell them to other Knicks ticket guys that want to buy the tickets to go to the game, but they sell them.
Oh, yeah.
I have a lot of friends who have season tickets. They make a lot of money. And then Knicks fans who want to pay that kind of price. Do you know in 82, Peter, Celtics-Philly, Game 7 in Boston. Philly is winning. The game is over. Do you know what the Boston fans started chanting? Don?
No, I don't remember.
In 1980?
82.
82. Julius Erving, Bobby Jones, Caldwell Jones.
No.
Beat L.A.
Well, that's what I figured.
Beat L.A. That was pretty good. I thought that was good.
I thought it was going to be something interesting.
John Sterling started in 72 in New York, WMCA. He was 35. I was 16 years old calling him up. And he did not suffer fools kindly. He was rough. He replaced a guy named Jack Spector, and it was supposed to be temporary. This is 1972. Kids were calling up. There was no adults calling up. He wasn't the first guy that started talk radio, but in the 60s, there was a guy, Stan Lomax, and then Win Elliott had a little bit, Bill Mays' stump shows. But Sterling was the first one, though, that, got the whole thing rolling. Jack Spector preceded him. He was really the one that started on MCA. And MCA was a music station. In 64, it became talk with Bob Grant, and then it became, sports talk.
That's where Russo started, too, MCA, right?
What's that?
Didn't Russo start on MCA?
Oh, that I don't know.
Okay.
MCA is an old station,
yes.
Don. That I don't know. Now, as far as the playoffs, NBA, NHL, Don, you're going to be interested. 94 games were played. Do you know that the home team did not win more than half? They won 45. And if you say that the home team was an advantage in Game 7, the one NHL home Game 7, the road team won it. The 3 NBA Game 7s, 2 of them won by the home. So it was 2-2. The other games, the other 90 games combined, NHL, NBA, 44-46. The NBA was even. In the NHL, it was an advantage to be away. Even if you had the better record and had the home ice, it wasn't an advantage. So there's no such thing anymore. Even in Game 7, fellas. Doesn't mean a thing. And as far as three-pointers, here's a big thing, Peter. You mentioned about living and dying. During the regular season, they don't guard the three-pointers. In the NBA, they guard it. There's a big difference between a contestant.
Yeah, well, listen.
By the way, I just want to be clear about something. When he said, do you know what they chanted? I just assumed it was going to be more interesting than Beat L.A.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. Maybe he meant that was the first time we got the Beat L.A. chant.
Maybe it was. But, interesting was not on the table. It's happened in the NHL a lot. Home ice advantage doesn't seem to matter. That's why you see these President's Trophy winners never advance. But in the NBA, it was usually something you can bank on, especially Game 7s. But parity has really hit the NBA. And this playoff's a perfect example. A 1 seed having to go to 7 games. And then 2 of the 3 7 games won on the road. And then just to have teams come back from 3-1 down. And that never happens unless you got Doc Rivers as the coach.
And we never got to mention today, Ballard had sent me the amazing stats about the Canadian series and the goal scoring. And it
is a credible series.
That is the statistics out of that series from a goal scoring standpoint are just bizarre.
And the Newhook goal was just amazing. And Tampa out in the first round again. But listen, we've got Knicks coming up. Pat O'Keefe is going to take you right up till tip-off at 8 o'clock. We'll see you tomorrow at 3 on ESPN New York.
If you're heading into summer without a medical emergency kit, you're taking a risk